What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's time for another Art of War Codex review. Codex Tyranids has landed, and it is very shiny and reflective with these beautiful studio lights. Quinton,
I'm so
welcome.
excited. It's the first Codex of 10th edition. I wanted to see what this looked like for a while. If I had an air horn, I would shoot the air horns right now.
It's alright. If we didn't love our consumers so much, we would put that in After Effects, but we do, so there's no air horns.
Oh.
Instead, I'm just going to tell you that Tyranids are my favorite army in Warhammer 40k. There is no better army that they could have started with. I am so excited to actually have this book in my claws.
And it comes with some really sick models.
Those
the Norns
also have me excited.
Oh, wow. Make me want to play Tyranids again.
You know what? There is no better time than the present. Especially if you're a little bored of indexes, you want a little spice, a little flavor in your life. Tyranid Codex is for you.
More than one option.
More
selected?
than one option. There are rules in here. Wow. Are you excited? Are you ready?
I'm very excited.
So, all right, let's just go, right?
One thing before we go.
Of course.
It's Quinton's Fun Fact.
Yes.
John, did you know there are 20 quadrillion ants?
That's a good number. That's on Earth, right?
Yeah.
Have we ever sent an ant to space?
Probably.
Yeah, probably on accident, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
right?
we sent a lot of things to space. I'm sure one snuck in there.
Interesting. This could have come back to bite us soon.
I know, literally.
Well, that's quite a fun fact.
I know.
All right, now, before we dive too deep into this, if you like Tyranids, if you like this content, please like the content. Click that like button, comment on the video, let us know what you're so excited about for Tyranids. Share the video, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna have a lot of Tyranid content going live on YouTube in the next couple of weeks. We are super excited for it. I am so excited for it. And if you subscribe to the channel, you're gonna get notified each time we go live. So if you've got a craving for bugs, a hankering that only Genestealers can help.
Can we talk about how sick those new Genestealer models are?
They're so good.
They're so good. They remind me
so
of the Space Hulk Genestealers.
Yeah, they're very dynamic.
Yeah.
I love them so much.
The old ones that are like...
Yeah, they've got like the old style, but they're just so much better posed and cleaner.
I've been really proud of GW for that. Mm-hmm. A lot of the classic miniatures that have been updated have like the same style, but are just much cleaner.
Yeah, that's really nice. You can still use the old one if you like it.
Oh, yeah.
But, all right, let's dive into the book, shall we?
Okay.
So this is a 10th edition codex. This is the first 10th edition codex. World Leaders didn't count. Even though it kind of felt like it. And, yeah, so if we open this up, there's going to be a bunch of beautiful lore and artwork. GW is following the same method as before, where they're going through a bunch of lore. A lot of this is new lore, though.
Really?
I'm actually that kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So I've read the entire codex front to back 3 times, lore included. I've read the rules part more than 3, but the lore I've read a couple times. Most of this is new. There's the brief history of Tyranids, the things that, almost all of this is like new, though. Like,
really?
I'm really excited. It's not like they haven't eaten Marnius Count or anything.
Okay.
But they're like actually like updating it for 10th edition. And then like all the stories that they're putting in are new. A lot of the artwork is new. The book is beautiful. The cover is mostly the same. There's like a Tyranid logo in the background now, but it's the same cover.
Yeah.
But if you were to hold this next to your 9th edition codex, you would not they're not identical, right? If you held this next to your 9th edition one, you'd be like, oh, this is the new one. This is the old one. Next. But they start off with the normal thing, lots of lore, lots of new artwork. It is beautiful.
I will say the codexes consistently have been like a very like beautiful product. Like they're an art piece.
Yeah, no, like if I'm paying almost college textbook prices, I want to read it more than once. Mm-hmm. All right, then the model showcase.
New models.
Plenty of new models. They do put a lot of screen time on the new models, such as the Norn Emissary, Death Leaper. Beautiful stuff. There's some Eldar getting eaten. I do love that. But this is all
appropriate.
It's very lore appropriate.
Yeah.
But this is all what you'd expect. Then combat patrol rules. This is something I don't think we've had in codexes before. I'm going to be honest. This is a competitive review of the Tyranid Codex. I cannot tell you if the combat patrol rules changed. I don't know.
I've not played a game of combat patrol.
Yep, this is going to be a review of the actual codex. Maybe we'll do some combat patrol content later, but this is about that. So it does give you a little paint guide, which is actually really nice.
I like those.
I miss these. These were around in like 4th and 5th edition, and they went away.
My 5th edition Eldar Codex has a bunch of those, and I kind of used them recently, and I was like, why aren't these in the modern ones?
Yeah, no, I'm glad that this is here. I think that's a very, very good thing to have. But then it gives you, the rules for the Varden Gas Swarm, which is like the combat patrol detachment, and the combat patrol data sheets. Cool. All right, now we're on to the actual army itself. let me tell you what a codex gives you that an index maybe didn't. So if you have the Tyranid index, because it's free, or you bought the cards, cool. They're cool. What this gives you is instead of 1 detachment, you have 6 detachments.
That is 6 times as many.
It is significant. It still gives you army rules the same fashion that you had before. Nothing has changed there. And it gives you all the data sheets.
Yep.
That's it. So if you actually, look at the army rules, Synapse and Shadows in the Warp, they are identical. Word for word, they are unchanged. Synapse is that while you're in Synapse range, aka within 6 inches of a unit with the Synapse keyword, you take battle shock tests on 3d6 instead of 2d6. Now, Tyranids do have garbage leadership characteristics to appreciate that, but 3d6 on leadership 8 is still better than 2d6 on leadership 6.
Yep.
So it's still better. Shadow in the Warp is that once a game make people take a battle shock test. I have found this hasn't changed at all, but I have found that it's better than it looks.
Yeah, especially since the way that the timing effects happen, you can't use Insane Bravery on it.
Yeah, that is really nice. So, in general, I think that Shadow in the Warp and Synapse are maybe a little bit better than we thought when we did the index review. Synapse itself actually isn't that important, I found, because no one else causes battle shock tests. But Shadow in the Warp is quite useful. So, I found that that's still there, but I maybe like it a little bit more than I did before. And there's going to be more reasons to like it as well. Because GW did not skimp on battle shock rules. All right, 6 detachments. 5 of these are new. One of them is the Tyranid Invasion Fleet. This is the same detachment as the index. I will go through it. I'll go through it kind of quickly. I'm not going to give a lot of analysis because this is word for word, point for point, identical to where it was.
And this is something we've talked a lot about on this channel.
Absolutely. I think it's quite good. Again, this is one that maybe got panned when it came out because it looked kind of boring. And then we realized, wait a minute, that was the index, is not just this. This is actually quite a good detachment. Tyranids have had a very good amount of success with this detachment in the competitive scene. They've been able to actually stay afloat in a world where many other armies were drowning. And that means a lot.
I think Tyranids are one of the armies that are much better than we originally thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they are a clean, just 51% win rate.
In today's meta, that's very impressive.
Yeah, that doesn't sound impressive. And then you're like, wait a minute, there are 25 armies. 5 of them are north of 52.
One of them's in the 70s.
Yeah, so being 50% that kind of bet is quite nice. But here's the invasion fleet. At the beginning of the battle, after you know your opponent, after you've deployed, so just to start the first battle round, you get to pick one of 3 things. Either your army is sustained hits against infantry and swarms, or your army is lethal hits against vehicles and monsters, or your army gains precision when it makes a critical hit against an enemy unit that has the character keyword. This is all the same and good. Alien Cunning is the enhancement that gives a redeploy to 3 units or puts them in strategic reserves. This is a normal redeploy, which means that we are pretty sure it happens before the first roll. And that will come up later, that verbiage I just used, because there's another one later that is specifically the opposite. Much better. Perfectly Adapted lets you reroll a hit, wound, damage, advance, charge, or save made for the bear. It's pretty good. Bad. It's just once per turn, but it's just a reroll. And then there's Synaptic Linchpin, which is basically gives the bear 9 synapse instead of 6. That's the cheap one. And then the 5 of Feel and Pain with Adaptive Biology that if you get wounded turns into 4 Feel and Pain. All the same. Do you want to read any of these stratagems? Do you want to just power through and read them?
Power through.
Power through? Yeah. Got it. I can do that. I can do that. So rapid regeneration, the 5 Feel and Pain, still there.
That's the one that you used every time. That's
this
the bread
is
and butter of this detachment.
1 CP to 6 of Feel and Pain, or if you're in a synapse, a 5 of Feel and Pain. This is fantastic. This is the best stratagem in this detachment.
Yeah, it's just a very good stratagem, period.
Because it's just reactive. It's shooting phase or fight phase. Your opponent hits you and you're like, please stop, 5 of Feel and Pain, next. You can still do 2 CP for Adrenal Search, which is the critical hits on 5s. Melee only still. I wish that you could do it in shooting because your rolls do work in shooting as well. But they kept it melee only. I think for 2 CP you could have gone shooting, but whatever. So not bad. And just every unmodified 5+ is a critical hit in melee, which means your sustained hits or your lethal hits, whatever your hyper adaptation was, that is going to be significantly better with Adrenal Search.
Yes.
Death Frenzy, 1 CP, fight on death on a 4+.
Okay.
Yep, pretty easy. This is the only one that doesn't have anything to do with Synapse, that just is what it is. Overrun, my favorite stratagem from a previous edition, not quite the same.
No.
And it's just consolidate 6 inches instead of 3, as long as you can get into engagement range of an enemy unit. But if you're not in engagement range, you could instead choose to do a 6-inch normal move.
Okay.
It's quite good,
Yeah.
but you can only do that if you're in Synapse range.
That's less good.
But
So the Neuroloids coming.
Yeah, there's ways to get into Synapse range that I think are quite useful. 2 more here. Predatory Imperative. This is where you can change your hyper adaptation in the command phase. 1 CP gives you 1 unit or 2 in Synapse range. Pretty decent value. And then finally, Endless Swarm is that 1 unit or 2 in Synapse range. And if it's an Endless Multitude keyword, it can regenerate D3+3 destroyed models in the command phase. It's kind of useful.
Yeah.
So 6 solid stratagems. Rapid Regeneration is the best one in my mind. It's the one that gets spammed out. But there are others that actually end up being quite useful. Getting sustained hits, because there's a lot of armies out there that are just leaning into vehicles or monsters or infantry. And when you find one of those, just get to say, my entire army has extra rule, it adds up very quickly.
Lethal Hits is one of those abilities that doesn't feel that impressive, but when you do the math on it, it is actually astounding.
Yep.
If you wound something on 6s, Lethal Hits is the mathematical equivalent of exploding 6 hits per 6.
Yeah, it's just massive. Of course, when you wound well, it doesn't sound as impressive, so people don't always value it, but in general, Lethal Hit's quite good. So this is the Invasion Fleet. This is kind of the benchmark in my mind. So I'm going to compare a lot of these attachments to the Invasion Fleet, because this is much more of a known quantity, because it is unchanged. This is the same as the Index.
Which probably just means that a lot of the Index attachments are going to be found in the codexes.
I expect so. And now this is the first one, so GW didn't have any time to consider, did this work or not? I mean, sure, this one got sent to print probably about the time the indexes came out.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe even earlier.
Before, yeah.
But in general, I expected later codexes we might see some changes, but the next couple, I'm guessing those index data sheets are just getting copy-pasted in.
Yep.
So, which is definitely what it did here. The wording is the same, everything. But there are 5 more detachments, and some of them are spicy.
What's up next?
Next up is the Crusher Stampede.
Say it ain't so, John. Say it ain't so.
There is a Crusher Stampede. GW took words out of people's nightmares and said, you know what, let's put these back. Let's just see what happens.
So I'm going to take my Flying Hive Tyrant, and he's going to have the Reaper of Obliterax, and he's going to fly in, and he's going to do 46 mortal wounds because of 4 charge stratagems. And
as many as you want.
No? Okay, so what does this Crusher Stampede actually do?
It is not the same.
It is not?
It is not. So what the Crusher Stampede
everything?
is it's themed around monsters. A lot of the first attachment, that Invasion Force, seems to be they're hey, this is the generic one. This is normal. Now, if you want to specialize a little bit, you can specialize a bit. Mm-hmm. All the other ones seem to be leaning one way or the other. Take some more of these units, take less of these ones. So the Crusher Stampede wants you to take the monster keyword. That is because their detachment rule only applies to monsters. Only monsters. No one else gets anything. So if you take Termagaunts and Crusher Stampede, okay, why? Why'd you do that? Come on. But you can. So each time a Tyranid model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll if that model's unit is below starting strength, and add 1 to the wound roll as well if it's below half strength. So this is the exact same rule that Sisters have in their attachment. It is identical, but only monsters instead of everything. As a Sisters player, this does not come up as often as you want.
The issue is that a lot of times your unit is at full health, or it's dead, and there's not a lot of in between there.
Yeah, and the thing is that you usually don't have multiple units hanging out in the middle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where I have a wounded monster.
Yeah.
I very rarely have 2.
Because what happens is you shoot a monster, it dies. You shoot a monster, it dies. You shoot a monster, you get it to half health, we're out of shooting.
Yep.
Next turn, it dies, and then you...
Yeah, you just keep going down the line. Yeah, no one's out there wounding 3 different Maleceptors. Although if they did, Crusher would be great.
I was gonna say, if you could have some kind of self-explosion, you could just do 1 wound to everything. If you're playing against AdMech.
So hold on. Okay. There is actually a little bit of cheeky that we can get here.
No.
Yes, there is. We'll get there. But anyways, the detachment rule on face value doesn't impress me.
Yeah, it's not great.
Ominous Presence is the first enhancement. +3 OC to the bearer. Tyranid monster only. Not exciting, honestly.
Fine.
It's fine. +3 OC, actually, let me just pull these points up just to
Yeah. If this is one of the 5 or 10 point enhancements, I'll consider it.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, no one cares. Crusher Stampede, it's 15, which is if you've got an awkward number of points, but come on. Enraged Reserves, fight on death on a 3+. Tyranid monster only.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Re-up's a little...
Because you're losing all the stratagems from the old detachment.
Yep.
It's going to feel so bad when you roll that one or two. Unfortunately, that's 20 points.
That's not worth it.
I don't think it's worth it.
It's not worth it.
I don't think
because there's not any...
You feel like really good melee.
It's like Hive Tyrants, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Hive Tyrants...
Hold on. Is it literally just the Hive? The Neuro Tyrant can do it too?
Sure. So that
doesn't have a melee weapon.
Yeah.
So I think this is literally just Tyrants.
I wouldn't... Would you pay 20 points for your Hive Tyrant?
For 3+? Very unlikely. Yeah. Null Nodules. Once per battle, when a psychic attack targets the bearer, can use this ability for a 5-up feel no pain against psychic attacks once per game.
That's garbage. I hope
Garbage.
It's 5 points.
I think it's 10. It is 10.
Nope.
Super cheap.
Hard pass.
Still not good. Finally, Monster's Nemesis. Tyranid monster only. +1 to wound against monsters or vehicles. Love that idea. Downside is that it's only on
the Hive
Tyrant. Because it's the only...
If you could put this on anything, I would be okay with it.
I really feel like they needed to make some kind of asterisk that these could go on monsters.
Any monster, yeah.
Because like there aren't other characters. The Norns, by the way, not characters. The Rise, that would have been cool. These are very limited. These basically all are on Tyrants.
But the problem is I don't want my Hive Tyrant in combat, and I don't want a flying Hive Tyrant.
Nope, that's all true.
Yeah.
So enhancements are also missing.
Yeah.
Maybe these stratagems are going to save us, right?
They better be real good.
All right. 1 CP. The first one is Corrosive Viscera. Don't roll for Deadly Demise. It's 1 CP. Okay. You just auto-explode.
Okay.
So funny enough, this is great once you get one of those big D6 damage, like exploding monsters into your opponent's lines. Then it's funny. Also kind of decent if they kill a card effects.
Is it 1?
Yeah.
You just do like, 1 to like...
Everyone's +1 to hit.
That is kind of funny, actually.
It is kind of funny to like maybe play into the detachment roll.
Yeah,
but you're still spending a CP to intentionally damage your own army.
Yeah.
So cute. I don't know how good it is.
It's +1. It's 1 CP for... Think of it. It's +1 CP for a mortal wounds and a bunch of damage to your whole like line. It's not bad. It's not bad.
But it's also fun to just have the stratagem when you're actually in your opponent's
auto explode's a great strategy.
Yeah, so it's good in general.
Also because it makes you play around you. Like you're like, man, I have a 4-win character. It can't go be within 6 of your monster because if it explodes, then
Yeah, there are a couple of big explosions in the Tyranid Codex /index.
Yes.
Rampaging Monstrosities. 1 CP, reroll the hit roll in the fight phase. That's cool.
That's not bad.
But like, it's nice. But also remember that we no longer have lethal or sustained. So there's no longer like a 6s are good part. You're just rerolling 1s and 2s, hoping for a couple more 3+.
The issue is also like, say you make 4 attacks. You could just CP reroll 1.
You could.
And you just know that afterwards.
Yeah. There's a couple like the Horror specs that have enough volume where this is worth it. This is a good strat to have. It's not. This isn't a build around.
No. Both of those are good strats. Like if someone was like, "Would you like these stratagems?" I'd be like, "I would like these stratagems. Thank you, good sir."
That'd be nice. Yeah. Savage Roar for 1 command point. This is in the fight phase after an enemy unit has selected its target. If they target a monster. Okay. Here's the prerequisite. They take a battle shock test immediately.
Okay.
It's after they target you, but they're immediately -1 to hit. If they fail the battle shock, they're also -1 to wound.
That is quite a good stratagem.
It is very funny. So 1 CP -1 to hit in melee is like, oh, that's situationally cool.
Yeah.
Battle shock's like, maybe they're not contesting.
Yeah.
And then, maybe you're -1 to wound.
Those are all like, I like the stratagem. The issue is it is in combat, and we are not in a combat edition.
There is one other thing to note here.
Yes.
It's not if your opponent is battle shocked. It's if they fail that battle shock test. So if you use one of these 17 other ways to make them battle shocked, and they happen to pass this one, they're still not -1 to wound. I kind of wish it was and if they were battle shocked -1 to wound, so that you can really start stacking the all right, and then you get real value out of it. As it is, not bad, but not the same.
I think it's better than the other two, but still it's not making this detachment work for me.
Yeah, not yet. 1 CP Untrammeled Ferocity. Pick a monster in your movement phase. It can move over enemy models, including when it falls back, and it doesn't take Desperate Escape tests for doing so.
It's not bad. It is good for monsters because it's...
Who's going to use that?
Oh, that's a good point. Because the other problem with monsters is the bases are gigantic.
And they all move like 8 inches.
Oh, they do, don't they?
8 to 10.
Oh, never mind. That
There's
stratagem
not
is useless.
Much. This is a 1 CP auto pass a Desperate Escape test if you need to use it.
Yeah.
Cool. because I don't want to lose a monster to that.
The reason this doesn't work as well as we think, by the way, is like, say you have a unit here, and here's your monster, right? You can do that. You can move over that. But if there's not enough distance for your monster to literally end on the other side and out of engagement range, you can't make the move anyway, because your base still can't end over the enemy models. And since the bases typically are like 4 inches, that math doesn't really check out if
they're on anything other than a single file string of guardsmen that is like spread out to the max.
Yeah.
Anything other than that, you're not actually going to cross.
Yeah. So if your opponent...
This is still occasionally useful, but not often.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this would be a lot more useful if it was including the charge phase. It's only movement.
Oh, it's only movement?
So...
Okay. Not a great... It's occasionally useful.
Swarm Guided Salvos is the next one. 1 CP. Shooting phase only.
Okay.
And you ignore cover. And you ignore hit and ballistic skill modifiers for that monster.
That's really good on the Datasheets.
Yeah, it's good on Carnifexes. It's good on the Execree and the Maliceptor. There's a couple of monsters that have AP 2 to 3 shooting and would really like to not deal with cover.
I'd probably rather have sustained lethal, though.
Often, because you can try to, combo with some ignore cover off of Biovores. But that's also a 12-inch gun that has to get there. This is just I ignore cover.
That is a solid strat.
This is a solid strat. I like having access to this.
So far we have 4 pretty solid strats and 1 meh strat.
Final one is Massive Impact.
Okay.
1 CP on the charge of the monster. Simple. Roll 6 dice. Every 4+ deals a mortal wound. So it's like throwing a grenade when you charge them. It's not a tank shot because it's 4-ups, and it's only 6 dice regardless of strength.
It's not bad. I will tell you, being able to do out of sequence 3 mortals is quite useful.
Yeah. None of these 6 stratagems really inspired me.
No, they're all...
Several were good.
Fine.
Several were just fine.
They're not making up for the fact that the attachment rule's not great.
And then the enhancements, none of them make me want it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I think Crusher Stampede is the worst of the 6.
I agree.
So if you heard this and were like, wow, I don't know about this book. Okay, fair enough. We weren't going to use all 6 detachments anyway. It gets better. But yeah, Crusher Stampede, despite what that name brings to people, is not that anymore.
I think I'd rather run a bunch of big monsters in the Invasion Fleet detachment.
100%.
Yeah. Get
sustained hits against infantry and a 5 Feel No Pain on demand. Yeah, you just do that.
Does the Hive Tyrant still hand out 2?
He hasn't changed, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you just do that every time.
That sounds very good. Yeah.
So, Crusher Stampede, we love you, always in our hearts, not in our tables. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think this is the bottom of it.
Consigned to the trash bin of White Dwarves.
Yep. Now, opposite direction.
All right.
Unending Swarm.
Little boys.
Little boys. This is the Gaunt detachment. This is the spamming out hordes. This one is quite interesting. I don't know where to put this one, like power-wise, but let's read through it, see what you think.
Yeah.
So the detachment rule, similar to the monster one, only applies to units with the Endless Multitude keyword.
And that
Context
is
4.
Hormagaunts, Termagaunts, Gargoyles, Neurogaunts?
Exactly.
Okay.
Those 4 are the only Endless Multitudes. Those are the only ones that get this rule.
Yes.
So if you take a Carnifex and an Unending Swarm, you can, but it's not getting anything from the detachment rule. Let's talk about what it is, though, because it is interesting.
Okay.
Each time an enemy unit is selected to shoot, after they have finished making its attacks, if 1 or more models from one or more Endless Multitude were destroyed, they can make a surge move. Okay. So every time an enemy shoots, if it kills... and that is shoot. That is not in the shooting phase. This includes Overwatch. Fun fact. Just make a surge move. To do so, roll 1d6. That unit can be moved a distance in inches up to that result. So up to that result, but must end that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. And they could get an engagement range while doing so.
They can get engagement range?
Can.
Okay, cool.
Unit cannot make a surge move while it's battle shocked. Here's the trick. Mm-hmm. There is no once per shooting phase limit.
Oh, so you can just
If there are 20 Hormagaunts and you kill one of them, D6 closer. You kill 2 more, D6 closer. You kill 3 more, D6 closer. They will just keep coming until they are dead or you stop shooting them.
So, this is
kind of cute.
It's cute. It is also, like, you can't be like, I'm going to go this way. You have to go, like, at your opponent.
So, you have to end as close as possible. The unit, not each model. So the closest model has to go straight line towards the target.
Yeah.
Everyone else goes anywhere they want.
Oh, that is significantly better than I originally thought. I thought it was every model had to go like...
And you can choose not to make a surge move.
Yeah, obviously.
But yep, so just... The unit has to... And the distance between units is measured closest model to closest model, not all models to all models.
So theoretically, if you had say here's a wall, right? A wall, and there were a bunch of Termagants lined up in front of it.
Yeah.
And your opponent shot and they killed one guy. You could move behind the wall, but have one guy go out in front of it, and they shot that one guy.
Yeah, and then they say, and now I won't make a surge move, we're good. Yes. Okay. There is a lot of tricks to the Unending Swarm. This is interesting. I haven't decided if it's good or not, but this one is very interesting.
This is the kind of rule that I really want to see on the table before I want to make any, like...
Australia will take this to WTC.
That's not even a question, I was going to say.
Not a doubt.
This is like the Eric Lithurus detachment.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is all Gaunt-based tricks. It's cool.
Yeah.
4 enhancements, as you'd expect. Add 2 inches to the move characteristic of models in the bearer's unit. Cool. This is for anyone, which helps. One downside here. Most Tyranids don't join units.
So there's one, right?
The Hive Tyrant can... Broodlords can, Warrior Prime can.
Okay.
Or the Winged Warrior Prime can join a Warrior unit, or either type. And then the Neurotyrant can join a Neurogaunt unit.
I see.
You could join that Warrior Prime with wings to Gargoyles as well. There are options, like a melee Warrior unit getting plus 2 inches, or Genius Throws getting plus 2 inches. Or there are a couple things here, not as good as it looked on paper, just because it's like, who actually... And you could always put it on someone who doesn't join a unit. And you say, whatever, he's just plus 2 move. Like, it's not... Oh, yeah, just it doesn't have to be a while-leading unit. Some of those will have that limit. This one doesn't. And, let me just keep, like, a finger on this points cost page, actually, because I don't have the points cost of the enhancements memorized. Boop-de-doop, we're in the Unending Swarm. Relentless Hunger, 20 points. Probably not, but not bad. Yeah. Naturalized Camouflage, better than it looks, I think. Start of the first battle round... Oh, wait, never mind, I lied. Select up to 3 Endless Multitude units within 9 inches of the bearer, and they get the benefit of cover... each time range attack. Oh, yeah, until the end of the battle round. Okay. So, start of the first battle round, pick 3 Endless Multitudes within 9 inches of the bearer. Mm-hmm. For that battle round, they have the benefits cover. Since it's only for 1 turn, I don't love it.
The issue with that also is, like, you just put, like, some morons behind a wall.
And then they have cover?
Then they have cover.
Counterpoint, if you're running Hordes, you are running Venomthropes.
That's fair.
Which just give cover as well as stealth.
Why?
This one doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
How many points is it?
Doesn't matter. Like,
it really
I just really doesn't.
Matter. Also, cover has everything everywhere, and when are you getting shot on good terrain these days, turn 1?
Turn 1, yeah. If you go... It is for the battle round, so if you go first, you might.
That's fair.
If then you, like, move out, but, yeah, come on. Piercing Talons. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack on a critical wound, plus 1 AP.
It's not bad.
So here's... Where it could be interesting. Nothing can join Hormagaunts. Okay. That is the problem. And it just makes an attack. So it could be shooting.
Oh.
But you have to join to a unit with guns.
Yeah, you really do.
Which is very difficult to do. Where I think this has the most value, if at all, is a Tyranid Warrior Prime joined to 6 melee warriors. And saying, screw it, they are Strength 5, AP 2 damage, 1 twin linked, 6 attacks each. But hey, they're twin linked so we can fish, and then 6 is our AP 3. It's cute. Bad. It's not bad. None of these enhancements are selling me, if I'm honest, but I don't think it's a strength attachment. No. And for the Unending Swarm, Piercing Talons is 25, so not cheap.
No, not cheap. If it was like 10 or 15.
The final one is the cheapest one at 15, which is each time the bearer's unit piles on or consolidates, plus 3 inches. That's cool, but again, would I want this in like a Broodlord? Like, unfortunately, just a lot of the characters in Tyranids that can join units, it's not just that there are a limited number of them. They're not the ones I want to take.
Exactly.
So none of these enhancements in my mind speak out to me. That's fine. We had a good attachment roll.
Yep.
We don't have to have good enhancements.
Let's see what the stratagems
Let's see the stratagems.
Okay.
All right. This is going to get interesting.
Okay.
Because it's weird. 1 CP Synaptic Goading. When you make a surge move. Just before you make a surge move while you're in synapse range. This is after you roll the dice. 1 CP. Re-roll the dice to determine how far a unit goes. And that unit can end that move as close as possible to the closest objective marker instead of the closest enemy unit.
Ooh, wow.
That is very good.
That's incredibly good.
For the record, you don't have to reroll the d6 to spend this. If you rolled the 6, you could spend the CP and be like, I could reroll this, I choose not to, going to the objective, now I'm out.
That's very good.
This is a very good stratagem.
Makes the detachment rule much better.
Yes. Yeah, the detachment rule is kind of cute.
Yeah.
This makes it better.
Much.
So, okay. Stratagems are good so far. Unending Waves 2 CP. You remember reinforcements from Guard?
Yes.
It's that.
So pick an Endless Multitude unit, put it in reserves.
So one that has just been destroyed, put it into reserves even though it was destroyed. So an identical unit goes in at its starting strength. And the attached characters don't come back.
Cool.
2 CP is a little expensive, but honestly, If you're getting back a 20-man brick, that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
It's not bad.
How many points?
And it just goes into strategic reserves. It doesn't have to arrive immediately. Fun
Okay.
fact. So you could always ingress it in later or save it for the end of the game, whatever you felt was necessary.
How many points is like 20 Termagants or Termagaunts or what?
Hormagaunts are 140. Termagaunts are like 120.
Okay.
Neurogaunts are like 90. Gargoyles are 140.
Okay, cool.
So a decent sized unit.
Yeah.
Teaming masses, 1 CP. In your opponent's shooting or fight phase, after an enemy unit has selected its target, an Endless Multitude unit is -1 to hit.
It's not bad.
It's cool. It's quite good. Just a reactive -1 to hit. I like that this is melee too, because Venom Throats provide stealth. This is -1 to hit, not stealth, so it stacks with stealth if your opponent has a modifier. But then also, you do get to do it in melee. And sometimes when people are just trying to kill every Gaunt in a unit, and you'd be like, stop, -1 to hit, this isn't as automatic as you think, and a couple Gaunts live, it changes everything.
Yeah.
This is a very good situational stratagem to have.
Like, how many times your opponent go in, you're like, I have 25 attacks to kill your 20 Gaunts, and you're like, -1 to hit, and they're like, oh no, the math doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, like, if you're trying to tie up Mortarion, how many attacks does he have? Like, I don't know, how many is he, like, actually?
Like 16 or 15 or something.
Oh, never mind, he's totally not killing them all. Hell yeah. Alright, Swarming Masses, 1 CP. This one's pretty good. Shooting or fight phase.
Okay.
An Endless Multitude unit. There's a theme here. These stratagems are like only for the swarms.
Yeah.
Don't take Carnifexes here, please. Just pick one that has not been selected to shoot or fight. And until the end of the phase, gain sustained hits 1, and if you have 15 models or more in the unit, critical hits on 5s.
That is quite good.
That's quite good. That's a good increase to damage. It is all critical hits on 5, so if you find a way to stack this with lethal hits, I'll point it out later. Actually, no, it's the Termagaunt. It actually gets interesting. So I don't know if I love it, but I like the idea of having a couple 20-man Gaunt squads and a Termagaunt. Termagaunt is a 6-inch of lethal hits for Termagaunts. So 1 CP, that shooting Devour Gaunt unit, it's 40 shots that hit on 4s. 5s are a wound and a hit. That'll add up. It really will get somewhere.
Nick has been talking about the math on Hellbrutes all day today.
Yeah.
So, same thing.
Same thing. 1 CP bounding advance, flat 6 advantage. Done.
That is useful.
Hormagaunts can advance and charge.
That is quite good.
So that'll help right there. Yeah. Good, but it could go on anyone.
Okay.
And Termagaunt and Gargoyles have assault weapons.
Okay.
So multiple uses here if you want to do an action.
Also just like move blocking people.
Yep, generically useful stratagem to have access to. Another situational but good. So far every stratagem I've had, I'm at least like, at least here, some are here.
Yeah.
Finally is 1 CP Preservation Imperative. When your opponent in their shooting phase selects a target, pick an Endless Multitude, it is treated as having fewer than 5 models for the purpose of blast.
That is a very good stratagem.
This is very good. One of the main problems with this army, as it currently exists, is sometimes people point Desolators at you, and Desolators kill Gaunts faster than you add them. So, like, blast kills them faster than you are paying for the Gaunts. So it's a really weird thing where, like, Desolators are more likely to kill 20 Termagaunts than they are to kill 10. It's super messed up. Turning off blast can make a unit just live. And that's how a lot of people deal with these units. So if you have 20 dudes, Space Marines aren't bringing a bunch of bolters. They're bringing a bunch of plasma cannons and assault cannons and las cannons and then some frag cannons or desolators.
Yep.
And if you just say, hi, surprise, there is no blast. These are just 20 guys, -1 to hit, 5 up save. They also have cover and a 6 band vuln.
Yeah, the Desolators they shoot, they're expecting to get, 10d3 plus 20 shots. If it's just 10d3 shots.
It's 40. It takes them from 60 to 20 shots.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, sure so Desolators are the extreme example, but like this is a good stratagem.
Yes.
Makes this army really hard to deal with. This could be a legitimate scoring machine. This detachment is super weird. There's very little in here that buffs damage. Tyranids have a little bit of a damage problem anyways. Enhancements don't do much. They don't make me want to take any characters. But only the Endless Multitude units do get good here. And they do get pretty good. There's really might be just a scoring list in here.
My, teams list sensor is
Yeah, wee woo. Yeah, how many can you take? Oh, boy.
For singles play, I quite like this idea.
It still would be pretty good. It's a lot of OC. All those,
especially if everyone's teching for monsters and everyone's like, I brought 12 super mega las cannons, and you're like, I have 400 gargoyles.
Yeah, and I also brought a bunch of blast weapons. Yes. That's important, too. And it's like, surprise, none of the normal counters. You just have to bullet your way through this.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. And they come back. So, in general, I like Unending Swarm. I think that this is not directly better than Invasion Fleet, but it is a weird diagonal side grade upgrade.
Yep.
Where it is very specialized. You just don't take Tyrannifex and Maliceptors and Exocrines and Trigons in this list. You just don't.
I will say so far after reading 2, I think the one I like the most is still the Invasion Fleet, but I also quite like the Unending Swarm.
Yeah,
very Stampede is
a little. Okay. Next up we have the Assimilation Swarm. This is the first one that has new keywords.
Ooh.
So I'll kind of just mention it now. Assimilation Swarms. Let's go through the detachment roll. So this is in the command phase, each Harvester keyword from your army that is within a range of an objective marker that you control. So you could have multiple on one objective marker do this.
Okay.
Can regenerate one friendly Tyranid unit within 6 inches of it. A unit can only be regenerated once per phase. Each time a unit regenerates, do one of the following. Either one model in the unit regains D3 lost wounds, or one destroyed infantry model is returned with its full wounds remaining. If that unit is Endless Multitude, 3 models.
So basically, each Harvester unit on an objective becomes like an apothecary.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just heal a dude or D3 wounds. Your choice
So
of that.
what units in this codex have the Harvester keyword?
There are only 4.
Ooh.
A little lower than I wanted here.
Yeah.
Ripper Swarms.
Okay.
Pyrovores.
Okay.
Psychophage.
Okay.
Horospex. That's it.
I get the last 2. I don't...
Rippers are designed to eat things.
Yeah,
and
why the Pyrovore?
That's what Pyrovores are like. Actually, they're not flamethrowers. They're digestive.
I always thought they were
No, it's not. It's not fire.
I always thought it was fire.
No, they're spraying stomach acid on you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, why are they called Pyrovores then?
Because it's on fire. They light stomach acid on fire.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
It's pretty bad.
Okay.
It's how you get +1 strength over heavy flavor.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to say it now. I think a lot of the rules in the Assimilation Swarm are really good. The fact that only 4 units have the keyword makes me nervous. And you could just take 12.
You could take 6 squads of Rippers.
No, they're not Bedlam.
Oh, you could take 3 squads of Rippers.
Sure could. Yep.
And then, put them all on your home field objectives and be like, healing.
There are options here.
And it's in your command phase, so you can steal objectives with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
This is interesting. There are more interesting rules. I just think that because all of these rules key off of having a Harvester unit alive and near you, it's going to be a little tricky to manage in person.
Yeah.
But I haven't played a game with this attachment yet. It could be better or worse than I think on the actual board. 4 enhancements. Regenerating Monstrosity. This bear's unit can regenerate twice per phase instead of once. One caveat here, can't put this enhancement on a monster.
Okay, so, but I mean, the prime with Warriors, getting 2 Warriors back a turn is not...
Could be cool.
Nothing.
Yeah. Warriors only go to 6 mans now.
Okay.
But still, you could theoretically just stand up 2 Warriors in each of your command phases.
We're getting 6 Gaunts back.
Yeah. And I will say, this is per phase, not twice per command phase. So keep that in mind with stratagems.
Good to know. Wait, when you... FAQ says you can only place models that are in range of models that began that phase. So you can't super string out.
You can't super string.
Okay.
But you could still get more boys.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So decent.
Cool.
Instinctive Defense is while the bearer is within 6 inches of 1 or more Harvester units, you can heroic for 0 CP and gain fight first. Just while you're near a Harvester, you get those 2 rules.
It's not terrible.
It's not bad. If you put this on a decent melee unit and just said, please don't charge me, there's a Ripper behind the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Not bad.
Biophagic Flow, Aura, I think this one's mandatory.
Okay.
While a friendly Harvester is within 12 of the bearer, then it can use the Feed the Swarm ability on units within 9 of it instead of 6.
Oh, that is mandatory.
Yep. So just if everyone within 12 grows their aura from 6 to 9. I think that's just, and I don't think this one was that expensive. It doesn't practically do anything, it just makes it easier to manage.
Yes.
And making life easy when you have a kind of niche rule is very important. The Assimilation Swarm, it's 10 points. It's
you take that every
That was it. I was like, not only is it the best one of these,
also the cheapest.
It's also the cheapest. Love it when they do that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I was gonna say.
Okay. Finally, Parasitic Biomorphology. Love these names. Tyranid model only gets +1 strength to the melee weapons of all models in the very unit, and once they kill an enemy in melee... The first time the bear's unit destroys an enemy unit in the fight phase, while the bear is within 6 inches of a friendly Harvester, +1 attacks to all melee weapons. So +1 strength does provide a nice breakpoint to the Broodlord and Genestealers or to the Tyranid Primal Warriors.
Yes.
Neither of those are Harvesters inherently. Would be dope if they were. But in general, it's like, okay, if you can kill someone while within 6 for Ripper Swarm, suddenly you're +1 attack and strength for the rest of the game. That is kind of cool. And then I could really see trying to, like, make a Tyranid melee warrior unit work in this.
Yeah, I agree.
I could try.
Especially if you can get, like, 1 or 2 back a turn or something like that.
Yeah, and then you also want to have some melee power in here. So, next up we have the Brood Guard Impulse. We're on the strats now. So, detachment roll, very interesting, a little limited on what units.
I agree.
'Cause it's like a weird Necron reanimation protocol that stops working as soon as your opponent kills all your Rippers.
Yes.
And there's only 3 of them.
Better hope there's not Chex Notes 1 Thunderfire Cannon.
No! Hey, there won't be soon. Getting legends.
Oh.
Heck yeah. Alright, Brood Guard Impulse, 1 CP. 1 Harvester unit that was destroyed.
Okay.
Target them even though they were just destroyed. 1 CP, your army is +1 to wound against whoever killed them.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So, like, Mortarion, charge a solitary Ripper into him.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It's kind of funny. This is cool.
That is
weird, hard to pull off, but situationally quite useful. I like this.
Yes.
Okay. Reclaim Biomass, 1 CP. Any phase, any at all, when a Tyranid unit is destroyed before the last models are removed, pick a Harvester within 6 inches of that unit, and then that Harvester immediately regenerates 1 unit. So when a Tyranid unit dies, pick a Harvester near the thing, and they're just like, oh, the dead boys, and back to you.
So, like, if you have a squad of Gaunts, right, and they die, and you pull
And they're
them
near
off,
a Ripper, then you just spend the CP.
and then you could, like...
You heal Gaunt somewhere else.
You can heal back onto the objective?
Yeah, with something else.
That's...
Or, counterpoint, when your opponent kills a Spore Mine, you heal D3 wounds on a monster. This is good. So, kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to have enough CP to, like, spam this out, but, like, it's a cool strat.
It's a cool... It's not, like, niche, but it's useful.
Yeah, 2 useful strats
Very,
so far.
very
2
useful.
very weird useful strats.
The hilarious kill this Ripper, get +1 to wound.
It's pretty funny,
It's
right?
pretty funny, yeah.
I'm gonna be yeeting solo Pyrovores and Rippers around the place. Tyranniformed, 1 CP command phase. 1 Harvester unit within range of an objective, stickies it.
That's incredible.
Oh, wow, actually. It's fine, yeah.
I like the key vectors a lot.
It is nice to be able to do that. So just, in your command phase, on objective you control, just stick it real quick. So if you can hide a Ripper Swarm on objective for 1 turn, just make it yours.
Yes. I guess it is. I was thinking, I had, like, Custodians in my head where you have 3 units in there, so the key vector is important. There's a lot of trash in this
There's
army.
a lot of trash in Tyranids.
So
but it's still nice.
It is still nice to have.
Because you're taking 3 Rippers in an Assimilation Swarm and they're OC0. So, like, it is nice to, like, have that.
Yeah.
But you do have to control the objective, so a Ripper by itself can't stick in the objective.
Yeah.
Still, okay, good. Honestly, I'm not very excited by that one just because I'm usually, like, just throwing trash around, but it's still nice to have. 3 more. A Blade of Carapace. 2 CP. Boy, this is like the first 2 CP strat we've seen. Like, let's see if it's actually going to do something.
One other one, I think.
There's not many, but there's a couple, yeah. In your opponent's shooting or fight phase, when they target a Harvester unit, that Harvester unit gains the 5-up Feel No Pain roll.
That's good.
But if it's on an objective, it gains 4+ Feel No Pain.
That's
very
good.
Interesting. So here's the funny thing. Of the 4 Harvester units, 1 of them is the Ripper Swarm.
Who cares?
Could I? Sure. Will I? No. Pyrovores makes them obnoxiously tanky. The Psychophage already has a 5 of Feel No Pain. Horospex very much would like a 4 of Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
Getting like a Horospex or a 3-man Pyrovore unit on objective, just be like, stop, I am 4+ Feel No Pain. That is pretty good. 2 CP adds up. Hive Tyrant will help that add up a little bit less. But would I pay 2 CP for a 4 Feel No Pain? Often, yes. Yeah. That's kind of good. 2 CP is a little harsh, considering that there's another detachment that has 1 CP 5 Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
But 4 Feel No Pain is a degree of annoyance better.
It is much better.
It's so much better. A Blade of Carapace, expensive, but like I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Secure Biomass, down to number 5, 1 CP fight phase. When a Tyranid unit that has not been selected to fight. Okay, cool. So, yeah, just gain lethal hits. And if your unit is Harvester, they get critical hits on a 5. So 1 CP, gain lethal hits. If that unit is also Harvester, crits on 5s.
Okay.
Rippers adorably getting lethal hits on 5s when they're 6 attacks each is very funny.
That is
because they also have sustained hits built in. But they're also strength 2 and weapon skill 5, so don't get too excited here. Yeah. But Biovores don't really do melee. Getting lethal hits on anyone could be useful, so like good for that. Horospex genuinely likes this. Psychophage, so bad in melee, I don't even care. Still, good to have.
Yeah.
Lethal hits just on demand.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd rather use it on Termagaunt than actually like on
a
Harvester unit. Finally, we have Rapacious Hunger. When a Tyranid unit from your army destroys an enemy unit, your unit immediately regenerates, and if they are Harvester, they regain 3 wounds instead of D3. But fun fact, this is the only way to regenerate that doesn't involve you having a Harvester nearby.
Okay.
Which is nice, because I needed one of those.
So this is kill a unit, regenerate?
Kill a unit in melee, the unit that did the killing immediately regenerates.
That is not bad.
Yep. So, interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of weird little things here. This detachment is the weirdest one to me.
It really is.
It's so dependent on having Harvesters.
I feel like...
But then you could keep them alive. Like, you really could.
Yeah. I feel like if they do die, though, then, like, you quickly run into a problem.
Yeah, this feels like it's so cool while it's working.
Oh, and then...
And if your opponent ever gets over the iceberg...
Yeah.
Like, they get over the hill and they're like, all right, I killed the Rippers, I killed the Biovores, you're out of Harvesters. What are your stratagems? And you're, like, looking around like, oh no. Like, I can now do 1 CP lethal hits and nothing else. Yeah, I think 4 of these 6 stratagems have to have a Harvester unit alive to even register an effect.
Yes.
2 of them are just better with Harvester, but could still theoretically be used. Mm-hmm. This is so... I've got to play this.
I have
no idea.
This could be incredible or awful, and I have no
I
idea.
suspect it's on the wrong end of the break point. I think, honestly, we just needed, like, 2 more units to have the Harvester keyword.
I feel like the Assimilation Swarm, if 1 or 2, like I said, 1 or 2 units get the Harvester keyword, we should be good.
Yeah. Wow. This is... I don't really know. I just don't really know what this is. In general, though, I think I like it. Mm-hmm. But it's weird. I'm going to go ahead and just say that I think this is worse than the Invasion Fleet. Because it's just... The Invasion Fleet's reliable.
I know the problem with the Invasion Fleet applies to everything, and its ability is like, you get an ability, and the strats are good.
Yeah. So, I'm going to try the Assimilation Swarm. This is the one that I'm least confident in my ranking on.
Yes.
I think
it could be good.
It could be good. I don't think it's quite as good, though.
Yeah, no.
All right. 2 detachments left. They're getting spicier and spicier as we go.
We are increasing in spice.
All right. Vanguard Onslaught detachment is the one that is... It's the one that I most want to love.
Okay.
It's my favorite one. I don't know if it's the best one, but it is my favorite one. This is the one for sneaky boys that are up to no good. Yeah. So, pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. Questing Tendrils. All Tyranid units with his ability are eligible to fall back in charge. Vanguard Invader keyword units also can do it in a turn in which they advanced. So this is the first one that has a detachment rule that everyone could benefit from regardless of what you take.
Fall back in charge is not bad.
It's not bad. It's not as good as sustained hits 1 or lethal hits, but...
Advance in charge
really
is
good.
Incredible.
Now, this is where the keywords matter a lot, because in the Assimilation Swarm, we read that and we're like, oh, wow, that's really interesting, and you find out there are only 4.
Yeah.
The Vanguard Onslaught detachment keys off the Vanguard Invader keyword. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many have the Vanguard Invader keyword?
I do, because you told me.
Dang it. 15. That is significantly more than 4.
Yes.
I'm not going to list all 15, because I don't even remember them all. I just know that it's 15.
Lichters and Von Ryans and
everything's sneaky.
Yeah.
So, Lichters, Death Leaper, Neurolichters, Genestealers, Broodlord, those 5 I know have it.
Yes.
Everything that has wings, like Tyranid Prime with wings, Gargoyles, Harpy, Crone, Tyrannicide doesn't have wings, but they put it there anyway, Flying Hive Tyrant, all of those things are also Vanguard Invaders.
Advance in charge, Flying Hive Tyrant? He
just has it. He falls back in charge, he advances in charges. It's just, if he's in this detachment, he just does that. It's kind of cool.
Now, if only he hit hard when he got there.
He doesn't hit soft or hard.
Yeah.
Actually. So quite interesting. There's also a second rule, which is the least relevant thing I've ever seen in my life. Death Leaper loses the Hunter Organism rule and can be your Warlord.
Cool.
Until GW gives me a reason to care who my Warlord is, I'm not going to care about this rule. But Death Leaper, spoiler alert, has a Datasheet rule that says he can't be your Warlord. I don't know why. I don't know why that matters, but in this detachment, he can be your Warlord. This nothing will refer to the Warlord again. This doesn't matter. But hey, cool, it's there. All right, now let's go to the enhancements.
Okay.
So, decent start on this. Makes Tyranid melee quick units a lot quicker.
Advance in charge is,
Hell of a
it's
drug.
not just the, like, you get an extra 3 inches to movement. It's the threat of it is huge.
Yeah, it's everyone starts backing up. Yeah, I like that a lot. 4 enhancements here. First up is Hunting Grounds. This is the funniest Genestealer cult counter in the West. I would rather have this than an Infiltrator unit.
What?
I'm not joking.
Okay.
So, while the bear is on the battlefield, each time your opponent sets up a reserves unit on the battlefield, roll 1d6. On a 2+, that unit must take a battle shock test.
Boy, howdy, it would be a shame if those acolytes couldn't throw bombs at full effectiveness.
Yeah, just like show up, surprise, you're battle shocked.
Don't hold objectives.
No contesting me, no stop trying to get +1 ballistic skill and AP, just stop. Very, very funny.
Probably the auto included in today's.
Oh,
But also, like,
this is an auto include.
my Shadow Specters are going to deep strike. Oh, God!
Yeah, just stop.
Yeah.
Rapid ingress in, battle shocked.
Does it work on Spore Mines?
Set up from reserves.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Okay, Chameleonic. The bear has the stealth ability, and each time range attack targets the bear, benefit of cover. Cool. It is for Vanguard Invader only, which means it can go on the Tyranid Prime, the Parasitomortrix, and the Flying Hive Tyrant. I think those. Oh, and the Broodlord and the Broodlord. I think those 4 are the ones it can go on.
It's kind of cute to put it on a Flying Hive Tyrant.
It is kind of cute.
Yeah.
And it does give you the units. So you could have a Tyranid Prime plus his Warrior Friends unit gain stealth.
Okay.
Which is also, actually, I'll just say it now, also really good because the Tyranid Prime has Vanguard Invader and the Warriors don't. So they get advance in charge because he's there.
Oh, wow, they do.
That is kind of cool, right?
I actually quite like that.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Okay. And benefits of cover and stealth is nice. Just cool. Stalker. At the start of the battle, select an enemy unit. The bearer, just the bearer, makes an attack against that enemy unit, +1 to hit and wound. Fine, just the bearer. Most of the things I'd want to put this on are +1 or weapon skill 2. +1 to wound for an enhancement against one enemy unit probably doesn't come up enough.
No.
Not
How
happening.
many points is that?
I never actually leave my finger on the points page when I say I'm going to. Here we go. This is the Vanguard Onslaught. What was this? Stalker? 10. All right, fair enough.
Okay,
fair enough.
that.
If I have 10 points, I will take it. Finally is the Neuronoid. This one's so good. 30 points, the most expensive one for a darn reason. And that is, after both players have deployed their armies and determined who has the first turn, redeploy 3 Vanguard Invader units, including into Strategic Reserves if you want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's real redeploy.
And there are multiple Vanguard Invader units like Von Rhein Leapers and Lichters that have Infiltrate.
Can you take a Von Ryans in a unit of 6?
Yes, you can. You
Can you take 18 Von
You
Ryans?
can take 18 Von
just,
Ryans and just be like,
rush
surprise! Whoop. And just, you go first, you do not leave your deployment zone in the next 2 turns. Thunk, you're in.
Ow, I
like that.
Okay.
Kind of like that. All right.
How many Von Ryans do we own?
Do we
What
own
is Art of War?
15?
Okay, we're getting there.
We're almost there. I'll get 3 more.
Yeah.
All right. Good enhancements. Redeploy, awesome.
So far, good detachment rule, good enhancement.
Yeah, like this is a very solid start.
So far, we are thoroughly competing with.
Absolutely. This is definitely competitive. Mm-hmm. On to Surprise Assault, 1 CP in your shooting or fight phase. That enemy unit must take... one Vanguard Invader unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight. Pick an enemy unit. Mm-hmm. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test. Each time a model in this unit targets that enemy unit, +1 to hit. Okay. If they fail the battle shock, also +1 to wound.
Is it shooting and fighting?
Shooting or fighting.
That's a great strat.
Yep. So hit them, they take a battle shock, you're +1 to hit. If they fail it, also +1.
Does your unit have any, like, if you're within 6 inches of this unit, -1?
Death Leaper.
Oh. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
I see.
Could be useful. Okay. Mm-hmm. 1 CP Assassin Beasts. In the fight phase, 1 Vanguard Invader Infantry gains precision on all melee weapons.
Are Von Ryans?
Yes.
Are Leapers already have it?
Lichters already have it. They would gain it here. This is basically for the Tyranid Warrior unit with a Prime attached, or a Broodlord and Genestealers, or a unit of Von Rhein Leapers. That's like
good strat, though.
That is sometimes very good.
Most of the time not, but sometimes.
Most of the time it's not even relevant. Sometimes that is very good.
Yep.
So I like that. 1 CP Seated Broods. In your movement phase, pick 1 Tyranid unit in reserves or 2 Vanguard Invader units. They arrive on the battlefield as if it were a turn earlier from reserves.
Can they show up turn 1?
Yes. Best thing you could target this with? Can you guess it?
Gargoyles?
Harpies. They're Vanguard Invaders.
Wow, they are.
Yeah, kind of cool, right? 1 CP, your 2 Harpies show up turn 1.
Are they still garbage?
They aren't great.
Okay.
But this makes them actually considerable. Yeah. They went down 60 points.
That's a lot.
They're not expensive, but they're also not good.
How
Weird balance.
Points are they now?
They're about 165.
Okay.
Still like they were like ludicrous before.
Oh wow.
Now they're just like, oh, maybe I would. Maybe I would. So this very cool. This makes Harpies very interesting. So lots of units have played so far in the Vanguard Onslaught detachment. Mm-hmm. This again is this is appealing to me. Okay, 3 strats still to go, and trust me, these are bangers.
Oh, what?
Oh, we've got good ones.
Okay.
2 CP. In your opponent's movement phase, after an enemy unit ends a normal, advance, or fallback move, either pick 2 Vanguard Invader units within 9 inches of it, or 1 other Tyranid infantry. Those units can make a 6-inch normal move.
Wow.
So it's, you get close to me, boop, I leave. Now, unfortunately, this is moving 2 units after 1 enemy unit moves, so you can't do it first to move 1, then to move the second when 2 enemy units move.
Yeah.
But still, someone gets close to you, scuttle.
It is.
And it can be used on any Tyranid's infantry.
Okay, that is.
So, like, there is a lot of value here.
There sure is.
Hard to charge. Mm-hmm. Okay. 1 CP, unseen lurkers in your opponent's shooting phase when they try to select a target. Pick 1 Vanguard Invader that was selected as the target. Can't be shot unless it's within 12 inches.
Oh, that's very good.
If that Vanguard Invader unit also has Lone Operative, change it to 6 inches.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, try to deep strike and shoot a Lichter. You can't. You just can't unless you're a 3-inch deep strike dude. Like, you just have to get within 6 of it. Oh, you got within 6 of me? I suppose I will use Hypersensory Cilia to back up outside of 6, then pop Lone up.
Oh, that's so good.
So good.
So good.
Finally, Invisible Hunters. 1 CP, up to 2 Vanguard Invader units or 1 Tyranid infantry. Remove them from the battlefield, place them in strategic reserves. They arrive immediately.
Immediately?
Sorry, like in your they'll come in the next turn because it's the end of the opponent's fight phase. Okay. It'll come in your next turn.
Wow, that is
a series of good stratagems.
That is good enhancements, good ability, and a series of good stratagems.
The Vanguard Onslaught is competitive.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is better than the normal detachment.
It is giving a very solid run.
It is given a real run for its money.
It also seems more fun.
It does seem more fun. This is the one I'm most excited to just put on the table, like, at my house and just be like, let's play some 40k.
I want to play 18 Von Lions on the line.
Yeah, you can play against them, no problem. I will. You'll be my first victim.
I'm excited.
Super cool. Mm-hmm. Super cool. Oh, there is a limit on the pickup and reserves, by the way. I forgot to mention because it's the last line. You have to be more than 3 inches away from enemy units. So you can't be in combat or very close to them.
Sure.
Totally fine. In general, though, quite good rules that we're looking at here.
Solid. Yeah.
Very solid. Yeah, I'm very pleased. Honestly, I'm pleased as could be. So, that's that. 1 detachment left. This is the one that I love.
The brain bug.
This is the Synaptic Nexus. I love the Vanguard Onslaught. Let me actually talk a little bit more about the Vanguard Onslaught. I love this. I do worry that it is making Tyranids super much better at something that they weren't trying to do. Because Tyranid, it's just, there's so many cool tricks for melee, and I haven't played a game with this detachment yet. So I can't really say with confidence, is this across the breakpoint? Because Custodies, for example, are a melee army in a shooting game that just crossed the threshold of I am now good enough at melee to make this a good army. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this takes Tyranids to that point, but it's close.
We'll see.
It's very interesting.
It sure is.
And I really think it's going to be fun to play. So I am looking forward to playing the Vanguard Onslaught. All right. Synaptic Nexus is the final detachment.
All right.
And of course, all these detachments are exclusive, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
Detachment rule is Synaptic Imperatives. This will be familiar to players of 9th edition. Start of each battle round, you can select one of the Synaptic Imperatives shown below, so you get to pick all of these once per game. They last for the battle round. While a Tyranid unit is within Synapse range, they get the benefit. You can only choose each imperative once per battle. So this functions identical to Space Marine Doctrines.
Okay.
You just have to be in Synapse range to benefit.
Makes sense. 3
benefits here. Get a 5-up minimal. So 1 battle round, your army has a 5-up minimal.
That's very good.
1 battle round, your army has +1 advance and charge.
That is good.
1 battle round, +1 to hit in melee.
Yeah.
Decent. It's insane. So 2 of them are quite good.
Yes.
1 of them is decent. They are all once per game.
It is also sort of the battle round.
Yes, makes it a little more annoying to call.
So solid, not the best, but solid.
Very in the mid of the detachment rules we've gotten. I'd rather have Advance and Charge.
Agreed.
But this is also...
It's better than like Pressure Stampede.
Better than Pressure Stampede by a margin. 4 enhancements here. Power of the Hive Mind. Tyranid Psyker model only. Improve the strength and AP of their psychic weapons equipped with the bearer by 1. Let me just cut this out. This goes on the Neurotyrant. He's the only one. There are no other Tyranid Psykers that are characters that have a psychic weapon.
He has a good flamer though, right?
He has a good flamer. His flamer, glad you asked, 2d6, Torrent, Psychic, Ignore, Cover, 5, -1, 2.
So this
To make it 6, -2, 2. 2d6, Ignore, Cover, 18-inch Torrent weapon.
That is a very good flamer.
That is worth buying.
That
is worth buying. It is in my list. If I run the Synaptic Nexus, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
I like it. And it's also, Power of the Hive Mind, not expensive. Let me just check that. Yeah, it's 10 points.
Yeah, you definitely.
Yeah, just in. Love it. Neurotyrant. Bam. Okay, cool. Psychostatic Disruption. This is good. Synapse model only. Yeah, no problem. Enemy units cannot arrive from reserves within 12 inches of the bear. And once per battle, during the first or second battle round only, when your opponent declares a unit will arrive from reserves, roll a dice. On a 4+, they don't.
Oh, wow.
Yep, that's it. They don't. They just cannot arrive at on the battlefield this turn.
So first or second?
Once per battle during the first or second battle round, when they declare a unit will arrive on the battlefield for strategic reserves.
Okay,
Bear
so
can use the
like
enhancement.
Drop pod or something.
You could do it on a drop pod on a 4+. You could do it when they rapid ingress. You could do it when they say, hey, this unit's going to 3-inch deep strike. Be like, wow, that's the one I don't want.
No.
4+.
That is quite
It's
good.
a bit of a Yahtzee because it's just going to feel so bad every time you fail and so good every time you pass it.
Yeah.
But it is also a 12-inch no bubble.
That is also quite good.
That makes it good because Psychostatic Disruption is, only, it's okay, I lied. Only nothing. It's 30 points.
Oh.
It's not a nothing.
Yeah.
30 is a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. Maybe.
But that is value. You could put that on the Parasite so that you have a lone op who's a 12-inch no-go zone.
I do like that.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Synaptic Control. -1 damage to the bearer.
How much is that?
Synaptic Control is 20 points.
Can you put it on a Hive Tyrant?
Yes, you can. And you do.
Wow, that is.
That's
quite
where
good.
it's where it goes.
That is quite good.
That's just where it goes.
Yeah.
It goes on the Hive Tyrant. You let that boy live because you don't have a 5 of Fatal Pain, so you want some kind of defense. Hive Tyrant enhancement done. I like that. Finally, the Dirge Heart of Kairos. This is a.
Oh, it's back.
Oh, it's back. Synapse only. Whatever. 9-inch aura of -1 leadership to enemy units.
That doesn't sound great, but I have
It doesn't
a feeling
sound
might be.
great, but I kind of want it anyways because there's some shenanigans coming up.
Yeah.
I know you know I love my shenanigans. All right, let's hit them with the stratagems.
Stratagems.
Stratagems are interesting.
So far we have
Decent detachment. We're very, very middle of the pack of what we've seen.
Probably above average enhancements.
But not the best.
But not the best. And let's see about stratagems.
Stratagems that are going to make or break us.
Yes.
So the Smothering Shadow. 1 CP in any phase after an enemy unit fails a Battle Shock test. You pick a Synapse unit within 12 inches of the enemy that just failed the Battle Shock test. Effect. Roll 6 dice. Every 3+ is immortal.
That's very, very good.
That is very, very good.
Because you can spam Battle Shock, can't you?
You can spam Battle Shock. You can spam it in a lot of different phases. And you can repeat the stratagem with a Hive Tyrant if you want. Wow. So I have played games with the Synaptic Nexus, and I gotta tell you, watching an enemy fail 1 Battle Shock test semi-near 2 Synapse creatures and being like, all right, one of them spends this CP, Tyrant does it again. And surprise, 12 dice every 3 is immortal.
Ooh, that's
Shouldn't have failed the
9
Battle Shock
mortals.
test. Yeah, and if they happen to fail it in my turn, I'm going to choose to do this before they... Well, actually, they can't. If it's my turn, they can't use the auto-pass strat anyways. So just like... And there are out-of-sequence Battle Shock tests. Mm-hmm. So you just get them to fail one of those and immediately be like, aha! 12 dice every 3 is immortal. That really hurts.
That's a lot of mortals.
I had a unit charge the Parasite of Mortrex, who was carrying the Dirge Heart of Kairos.
Yeah.
So he's a -1 leadership aura. And the Parasite's rule is you take a Battle Shock test at the beginning of the fight phase.
Yeah.
So failed the Battle Shock test, and this I think it was like a Noise Marine unit. Mm-hmm. I was just like, please don't punch my Parasite, good sir. 8 mortals.
Wow.
I was like, and please stop. And just bapped that unit out of existence. I was like, all right, don't do this. Very funny.
That is very funny.
Situational, very good when it works.
Well, you can also drive up next to a load op and you're like, Shadow in the Warp.
Yeah, and just bang, bang, bang. Yeah, just throw it out there. Okay. Synaptic Channeling. This one doesn't matter. Pick a Synapse unit, it gains a 9-inch Synapse instead of 6.
That's terrible.
No one cares, but I don't need 6 good strats, so it's gone. Irresistible Will, 1 CP, shooting or fight phase. Pick a Synapse unit from your army that has not been selected to do its thing in that phase, but it can still do it later. It's weird. Pick an enemy unit within 24 inches and visible to that Synapse unit. That Synapse unit that you chose becomes a 6-inch aura of reroll 1s to hit and wound against that enemy.
It's not bad.
That's
quite good.
No, that is good.
Yeah, that's quite good.
You can do this on a Zone Thrope unit that is a very large era.
Wow.
And just be like, surprise, everyone within 6 inches of the spread of Zone Thropes. Pick that enemy unit and just rerolling 1s to hit and wound.
Okay, I like that quite a bit.
Or, if you're a Synapse creature, you can just do it for yourself at any point. For example, if the Norn Emissary is in combat and it's just like, yeah, let me just spend a 1 CP, reroll 1 hit and wound. Go.
Oh, wow, that's
just
very
go,
good.
start talking. Irresistible Will is quite strong.
1 CP become Trajan.
1 CP, old style Trajan.
Yeah.
Yep. This is good. I like this a lot. 1 CP. Love these 1 CP strats.
Oh, yeah.
Reinforced Hive Node. In your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase, after an enemy unit has selected its target, a Synapse unit that was targeted gets Armor Contempt. Reduce all incoming AP by 1.
What's the save on an Emissary?
2+.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So your Hive Tyrant can be 2 up,
Cover.
-1 damage.
2 up, cover, armor contempt, -1 damage.
That is a very durable
Dink, 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 dink.
Yep.
That's the pitter-patter of las cannons bouncing off me on a 3-ups.
Yeah.
That's so good. Reinforced Hive node, real good. You are losing out on the 5 Philip Pain of the Invasion Fleet, but you get something back. Now, unfortunately, a lot of Synapse units, for whatever reason, don't actually have good armor saves. But there are a couple that do. And it's literally, it's the Tyrant, and it's the, whatever he's called.
The Norn.
It's the Norns.
The Maleceptor?
The Maleceptor is a 3-up, which is decent.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. And also, like, this is kind of funny on some of the Forge World stuff, but like the Hierophant.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's still Synapse. He used to be Synapse, I haven't checked. But just in the Codex, Hive Tyrant and the Norn, both Norns, and then the Maleceptor to a lesser extent, love this stratagem. Just love that. They don't want to have to take an invuln. Alright, that's 4 down, 2 to go. Imperative Dominance is 1 CP. Just get one of the Synaptic Imperatives back.
For your whole army?
No, just for that unit, sorry.
Okay.
Just pick a Tyranid unit from your army that is within Synapse range, select a Synaptic Imperative, and until the start of your next command phase, that Imperative is active for that unit.
I mean, it's 1 CP 5 bit invuln.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to
terrible.
come up because there's not that many units that I want to preemptively get a 5-up invuln on. Like, it's not bad. If I'm trying to tie something up, it could be good if I'm taking some gaunts or something in there.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you just happen to make this the free one because there's nothing better to do, just have one Neurogaunt unit that's always rocking a 5-up invuln. They're good options here. And then, +1 advance in charge could be useful. +1 to hit and melee on demand could be useful, but not always. And then final one is 1 CP Override Instincts. Very simple. It's 1 CP fallback, shoot, and charge. We waited a very long time to find a fallback and shoot mechanic.
That is quite good.
We waited a very long time. I like this a lot because Zone Thropes are so bad in combat. And are so desperate to be able to shoot when someone attacks them.
I like this the best because this one is like, what if I made all of the best units in the book better?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. You hit the nail on the head, Quinn. You're thinking like a bug. So genuinely, the Vanguard Onslaught, I think, has better rules.
I agree.
The Synaptic Nexus
applies worse rules to better units.
Applies to the units I wanted to take before.
This one says, hi, please take 18 Zone Thropes.
That is something I want to do.
They're quite good.
They're quite good. I would like to run 18 Zone Thropes, and this is the detachment.
So should you.
Yeah, they're solid. They're not mandatory, but they're solid. I like them. So super interesting here. I love the idea of Battle Shock spamming out Smothering Shadow. I don't know if that's actually good. I think it's a pipe dream of me wanting to like relive the glory days of Ravenous Terrashades. But this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I like Synaptic Nexus.
I
think this is the best one. I think this one, Vanguard Onslaught, and the Invasion Fleet are all real contenders. I need to play games with these, get them on the table.
The Assimilation Swarm and the Little Bug one are funny, but I don't think they're actually...
Yeah, the Little Bug one, the Endless Swarm, that it really could be good. Like the movement jank that you can do with that is out of control.
I wish you could like combine parts of these.
Oh, like I could build a bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could choose to get the Vanguard Onslaught detachment role in my Synaptic Nexus, I would. Although really I would take the Invasion Fleet one.
Yeah.
It's the best one, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Although the Vanguard Onslaught is good. But that is the trick with the Vanguard Onslaught, is none of these rules really increased my damage output. It's a lot of, I'm playing the mission and I'm fast and I'm hard to engage and now I'm here and now I'm there. And that is so good until someone puts 10 Custodian Guard on your home field objective and says, now what? And you're like, oh, I was hoping you'd be confused and stay away from me.
These are great and tricky until someone punches you square in the mouth.
Yeah, I think Vanguard Onslaught could beat anyone who's trying to... Like, I don't think you can out-trick the Vanguard Onslaught.
No.
Like, I think Genestealer Cult, Demons, Grey Knights, all these tricky armies, I think the Vanguard Onslaught pulls their pants down and then just throws them into the river.
Yep.
But I do worry that the Vanguard Onslaught will lose to someone who's just like, screw it. I'm just the Custodians are running onto the objective. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do? It's like, oh god, not the face.
They just ring the objective.
14 Chaos Knight War Dogs deploy on the line and say, I don't know what your rules are and I'm not going to ask. Go.
Yep.
Like, oh, geez, now what? I don't have a plan for that, man. I'm just going to die. But Synaptic Nexus is interesting. So 6 detachments down. That's it for rules. The rest of this book is datasheets. Just datasheets. So if you like the Invasion Fleet, because it's genuinely good.
Yeah.
Really is. I didn't like it as much when it came out. I've grown to love it. And I think it still compares favorably to most of the detachments in here, or at least compares to the rest of them. Okay. You could take the Invasion Fleet. You could easily justify it. I don't know which one's best yet. It could still end up being the best.
Yeah.
Not much has changed. Run the same Invasion Fleet. Nothing gets added. The Codex does not give you any extra rules while you're playing the game. It gives you more choices. It's more complicated in the write-up. But honestly, I think that's the best way to do it because the game is just as simplified, not simple, never simple, of course not, as it was in the indexes. You just get a lot more, you have a lot more choices when you're at your desk writing your list.
Yes.
Same amount of choices, no matter what you do in game. Just you get more decision points pre-game that's not going to complicate things in game.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with this format. I'm very happy with several of these attachments. Only the Crusher Stampede am I genuinely disappointed in.
Yeah, that
one's it just feels like, honestly, it feels like they had a Crusher Stampede written and someone was like, hey, wasn't that the thing that got a bunch of people to play Age of Sigmar? And they're like, right. Yeah, just tone that. Just not Crusher again.
Yeah.
They just didn't want Crusher Stampede to be the way again, and don't worry, it isn't. Anything else, though, I can genuinely see at least one argument for running. 3 of them I could perfectly imagine myself taking Invasion Fleet, Vanguard Invaders, or Synaptic Nexus to a large tournament.
Yep. So in terms of data sheets, a lot of them are the same, right?
A lot of them are the same.
So do we want to, we covered all of the data sheets already in other videos. Do we want to cover them all here again, or?
Honestly, I don't.
No, I don't think we do.
If you want to, obviously, like, these data sheets are going to be up. Pull up your Tyranid index while you're listening to this. If you're listening to this right now on release, go to Warhammer Community, look at that Tyranid index, pull up those data sheets. We're going to go through the changes.
Yeah, let's talk
because, I'm just going to changelog. I already went through the book for my own edification, and I already took a changelog. I already wrote down everything. Let's do points first, actually.
One thing, if you want to hear us talk about all these wonderful data sheets, the Tyranid index review, I think you and I did it, is literally us talking about all these data sheets for several hours.
Yeah, and you should go watch that. It's on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please.
Yeah.
And as well, if you want more Tyranid goodness, I'll mention it now and at the end, there's a lot of Tyranid content coming on our YouTube channel, so again, subscribe. And as well, in the War Room. So if you haven't checked out the War Room yet, go to the link in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. You can get a free 3-day trial right now. This video is going live on a Saturday. We're doing a game on YouTube on Wednesday and a game in the War Room on Thursday. So we're going to have multiple Tyranid games up, and I expect more in the weeks following. Got to paint these models. But lots of Tyranid games coming. I'm also going to have a Tyranid faction focus up in just a couple days. So stay tuned. Lots of Tyranid content in the War Room coming very soon. Let's do the changelog. So points, I'm just going to generalize a little bit here. A lot of things went down 5 to 10 points. A lot of things. One of those things is the Biovore, which went back to its old points cost, and that makes me think it's about to go back up.
Yeah.
We'll just see. There's a balanced data slate coming soon. sometime in September. We don't know when. Sometime in September we're getting that, and there will probably be new points in it. They even put in the back of the book. Here, I'll even hold it up. Here are the points. Have fun zooming in. Enjoy your pixels. They put a little QR code, and they just said, hey, use these points whenever you want. Have fun. But if you want the latest points, they're probably not in this book. Just scan this. And I scanned it, and it's already live, and it's just a link to the Warhammer community download section. So they're not even pretending that these points are going to last. Literally, there's like a little author's word that says, these are going to disappear in about 7 seconds. And, yep. But for now,
I kind of like that, though.
Yeah, they're admitting it. They're like, yeah, we're not even pretending. Just like, if you're just playing around your kitchen table, just use these points. But if you want the match play points, they're getting updated regularly right here. A lot of things went down 5 to 10 points. I'm just going to give the... should I just read this out? Because
I would, yeah.
Yeah, speed run. All right, Biovores, minus 20. Broodlord, minus 10. Deathleaper, minus 5. Exgreen, minus 10. Gargoyles, minus 5 per 10. Harpy, minus 65.
That's the funny one.
It was 230, which was laughable. Now it's 165, which I might not even take, but at least I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Horospex, minus 5. Hive Crone, minus 5. Hive Guard, minus 5 per 3. Hive Tyrant, minus 5. Lichter, minus 5. Maleceptor, minus 5. Moloch, minus 10. Mucolids, minus 5. Neurotyrant, minus 10, which is the same cost as the enhancement I'm going to buy every time. Parasitomortrix, minus 15. That makes me happy. He was overpriced. Screamer Killer, minus 5. Spore Mines, minus 5 per...
Are they good now?
4 Spore Mines?
Yeah.
They're the same, which means they're terrible unless they're free. Turvagon, minus 10. Tyrannocyte, minus 10. Tyrannifex, minus 10. Von Ryan Leapers, minus 5 per 3. Winged Tyrant, minus 5. Winged Tyrant Prime, minus 15. A lot of things got a little bit cheaper. You're going to fit a little more of everything in a Tyranid list, and I love that.
Those drops sure seem like you get an extra unit.
Yep, I think
1 or 2 extra
one, and not a great unit, but one extra unit.
Like, there's an extra unit of Gaunts in all your lists.
I like that.
Yeah.
Some things went up. Barbagonts went up 5 points per 5.
Understandable.
Yeah, understandable. Genestealers went up 5 points per 5.
Why?
Tyranid Warriors with melee went up 5 points per 3. I don't understand that at all.
Okay.
They're already overpriced. They're a little too expensive. And then Ripper Swarms are just a 15 points per model instead of a weird non-divisible by 3 number, because Ripper Swarms are now units of 1 to 3 instead of 3.
Oh, so
which is great because you buy 3 of them solo and they deep strike.
So 45 points gives you 3 units.
Yeah, they just deep strike into places and deploy teleport homers when you run out of Spore Mines.
That sounds
Screens. Woo!
That sounds great.
It is. It's great. It's awesome. I love it. All right. Finally, there are 3 new datasheets. Neurolichter.
Okay.
Costs 60. The Norn Assimilator costs 305. The Norn Emissary costs 285. A little bit cheaper. Let's go ahead and hit these datasheets.
All right. Ooh, new datasheets.
New datasheets. Most Tyranid datasheets are 90 to 95% the same as what you remember. They are all in here. They're all consolidated from their index form. So in the index cards that we saw in Warhammer Community, it was like a two page per thing. They're now just 1 box per unit. They just put everything that was on the back right there instead. That's it. So it's just a little simpler, a little easier to read than the index cards, but now it's a book. I don't know if they're going to be selling cards of this. I don't think so. But right now, the book is just looks like an index card that they squished together so it fit in one side. None of these changed. The Neurotyrant is now 18 inches instead of 12 inches on its putty unit and synapse range.
Cool. It's better.
Sweet. The Norns are new. Let's actually talk about them because they're big and sexy and I love them. Norn time. Norn Emissary. So both of the Norns are monsters synapse.
Okay.
The Emissary is also Psyker.
Okay.
But they don't have any of the detachment fun keywords. If these things had Vanguard Onslaught, I would cry a little bit.
Yeah, these things, wow.
I would weep.
Okay.
They'd be happy tears. Both of them are T10, T11, 2-up armor save.
Move 10, T11.
Sorry,
Yeah.
move 10, T11, 2-up armor save, 16 wounds, leadership 7, OC 5, synapse, cool. The Norn Emissary, the cheaper one, also comes with the 4-up invuln.
That seems better than not having an invuln at all.
It is better than
that.
That
is better.
But honestly, a Norn Assimilator with a 2-up armor save and synapse, that could be armor of contempt and cover, might not need it very often, but it's nice to have it.
I mean,
sometimes.
AP3 if you're in cover, which you have a tail, so you always will because you hook the tail behind.
Yeah. But occasionally someone is like, I'm actually AP5 on my Deathwatch Kraken Bolt Hellblasters, and you're like, stop.
Yeah.
Invuln. So it's nice. Both of the Norns have 1 rule the same and then 1 rule that's unique. They're also Deadly Demise D6, very funny and Crusher, which we're still not taking. Start of the first battle round, select one of the following. one enemy unit or one objective marker. If you pick an enemy unit, reroll all hits and wounds against that enemy unit.
I really don't like that enemy unit.
I do not, but I do love the objective.
Yeah.
And if I pick an objective, while I am within range of that objective marker, I gain a 5+ Feel No Pain and OC 15.
Wow.
Normally OC 5, now it's 15.
It's Vulcan who grew up.
When a Norn emissary or assimilator grabs an objective, taking them off of it is going to be a righteous pain in the butt. And I do expect in most missions, you're going to pick an objective over a unit.
Yep.
Because boy, howdy, is that a good rule to have once you get to that objective.
Yeah.
You can get there on turn 1 because it's a no man's land and you deploy directly opposite of the one you picked, for example. Not that I would do that. You just get there turn 1 and say, surprise, primary, come fight me. And if they don't, you just score primary.
Yeah.
And if they do, Norn Emissary's OC 15 has a 5 Feel No Pain and is tough as a mother. Yeah, like...
T11, 2 up, 4 up, 5 up, wow.
Both Norns have that rule, word for word identical. Let's now focus on what makes the Emissary unique. The Emissary has a gun and a special rule as well. Unnatural Resilience gives it a Feel No Pain 4+ against mortal wounds.
Look good with devastating wounds.
This is the cheaper one. Let's remember that.
Why?
It's
20 points cheaper?
20 points, but cool. I like it. It has a gun. The gun is Psychic Tendril. 3 different types of guns here. One of them is 2 shots at 8 - 2d3, ballistic skill 2+ and all this.
Okay.
18 inches precision.
Okay.
Cool. You're not going to do this one often because there's another version that's much better.
Yeah.
And that is Neurolance, which is 2 shots, ballistic skill 2, 18-inch range, strength 12, AP 3, damage d6, melt at 2.
Okay. That is a very real gun.
Yeah, ballistic skill 2. It's just an 18-inch melt a las cannon fusion.
Yeah.
That hits on 2s. Once you get within 18, you might as well just be like 2 hits, 1 or 2 wounds to your Rhino, AP 3 damage, D6, it's Melta. It's like, oops.
Yeah.
Like, does a Norn Emissary kill a Rhino every time? No. If my opponent complains that a Norn Emissary killed a Rhino, and be like, come on, buddy, like this just might have happened.
Yeah.
Like this could just happen at any point. Kind of cool. Finally, it can do a blast at 6 - 2/1.
It's not bad.
2d6 shots.
It's actually quite good at light infantry killing.
Yeah. Anything it has 2 good profiles here. The precision one is just so specific that I think I'd rather take the Melta gun every time.
If your opponent has a 2-wound captain,
yeah. If their librarian has already failed the psychic test or something, sure, it's cool to have.
Yeah.
Its melee is good, not amazing. Everything's weapon skill 2. This thing hits on 2s. 6 attacks at 9, 2, 3. Okay. And 4 extra attacks at 7 - 2, 2. It's quite good.
Not terrible, not amazing.
I'm always disappointed every single time I look at a Tyranid model in Melee. And they're like, this thing is massive. In the lore, this thing flips Land Raiders upside down, gives them a spinny loop on its finger like a basketball, and then shot puts it into the next battlefield. AP 2. Yeah. I'm like, come on. Also, I don't know why they chose to give all Tyranid monsters except the Norn Assimilator like strength 9.
Yeah.
Everything wounds a freaking gladiator lancer.
Wait, this thing's strength 9?
It's strength 9.
Why?
The Hive Tyrant is strength 9. Like a Carnifex is like strength 9. A Trigon is strength 9.
Okay.
Everything in this book wounds, like in Melee, wounds a gladiator lancer on a 5. It's so annoying.
That's depressing.
That's what the Norn is, though. Still, 4 Benvum, 4 Feel No Pain against mortals. Cheaper, has a good gun, very respectable combat, and it is durable. I like this a lot. 285 is the points cost where I'm very willing to put it on the table.
Yep.
I'm not a hundo sold on it, though.
Definitely would not take 3 of these things.
I don't think this is a take 3. I think it's cool.
Take 1 is... Yeah.
I like 2. I like pairs. Because defensive stratagems, the Hive Tyrant is like, both of you.
Yeah.
So I like 2. But they're a little expensive. But they're good, and the model is slick. So just go buy 3 anyways, honestly. I'm going to buy 6. Who am I kidding? Yeah. Next is the Norn Assimilator. Same base profile of a Norn that we already talked about. Has a different gun. It's Toxinjector Harpoon. They took Toxin and Injector and they made it one word. I'm very proud of GW. Has a special rule called Harpooned, but it's 2 attacks, range 12, at ballistic skill 2, strength 12, AP 3, damage d6 +1.
So also a real gun. But
it's a real gun, but 12 inches instead of 18. It's D6 plus 1 instead of D6, but it's
Not
Melta. So, like, very similar. And if it hits an enemy monster or vehicle with one of these attacks, the bearer is plus 2 to charge that target.
It's not bad.
That's kind of cool. If you if you wanted to reserve an Norn Assimilator, show up, shoot a vehicle, be like, surprise, and then just like 7-inch charge, chest burst into them.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. But like, it's a good gun to just have. It has the same monster scything talons as the Norn Emissary, so that's 6 attacks at 9-2-3. But instead of the extra attacks being 7-2-2 because they're puny rending claws, these are Chad Tox Injector harpoons, which you can also use in melee. Surprise! 4 extra attacks at 12 minus 3 d6 plus 1. Finally,
So he
something can wound a Gladiator Lancer on 3s.
Yeah.
Someone had to do it. I just had to find that person, and it's the Norn Assimilator. So that's quite cool. I like the Norn Assimilator quite a lot, but
What's his other special rule?
once per turn, when an enemy unit within engagement range of this model falls back, roll a d6. On a 2+, they suffer d6 mortals.
That's
Very
fine.
funny, but how many units are running up to this Norn Assimilator, getting in combat, and then being like, wait, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And like, if you go charge something, kill it. Now, it is cool, though, if you go, hit something, kill it, consolidate into its friend, and be like, if you flinch, d6 mortals. Like, that's cool. I don't know if it's amazing. I really wish this wasn't more expensive than the Emissary. I think these are very comparable.
I agree.
But one of them hits harder and is slightly worse in shooting. The other one of them hits softer, but is better in shooting, and has a 4-up invuln and a 4-up Feel No Pain against mortals.
The Feel No Pain against mortals is just like Norn Emissary is way better.
And is 20 points cheaper.
But yeah, okay, cool.
That adds up.
Yeah, it really
It just does.
Really
just changes the math on this. So, very cool.
Cool.
Both of these are I think quite legitimate. The Norn Assimilator at 305 feels a tad bit overcosted.
Agreed.
I feel like the Norn Assimilator needs to be 265. I feel like it needs to be 20 cheaper, not 20 more. But the Norn Emissary is I am willing to put this on the table, very good. I think the Assimilator doesn't make the cut. Because
Agreed.
I think the defense is mandatory. I just don't think you can run the Assimilator and say, boy howdy, I sure hope no one mortal wounds me before I reach this objective. Oh god, not the face. Because you're really both Norns are trying to weather the one turn of danger before they make their chosen objective. And your opponent's got one turn to kill this thing before it goes 5-up Feel No Pain hard mode. And then it's just a bear to remove. And at that point, the 4 Feel No Pain against mortals is nice, but not mandatory because you have a 5-up. But in that one turn of weakness, your opponent's going to point their Wraith Knight, their whatever jerk they have at your Norn, and if you have neither the invuln nor the 4-up against mortals, you are dying so much faster.
You really are.
So I think Norn Emissary is the way. Not mandatory is good. Final new datasheet. Also on the next page, very convenient. The Neurolichter. Do you like Lichters?
I do.
Would you like it if it was better in every way and cheaper?
I would, yes.
So would I. Neurolichter. Mwah. Beautiful model. So cool. Just so happy with this thing. So a Neurolichter is 8-inch moving lone op. T5, 4-up armor save, 4-up invuln.
Okay.
Leadership 7, OC 1, whatever. But it's T5 is 7 wounds compared to the Lichter's T6 6 wounds. So -1 toughness, +1 wound.
That is better.
Probably better. Here's the real thing. The Neurolichter is 10 points cheaper. Has a 4+ invuln.
That is much better.
You may be thinking to yourself, well, you know, a Lichter has a 5-up invuln, so like that's comparable. It doesn't.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. The Lichter is unchanged, but it lost its 5-up invuln.
Say it ain't so.
It's a very sad fact.
Yeah.
The Neurolichter is new and better, and you just want to buy this one instead. Its melee is worse. It is precision, but it's 6-2-1 at 6 attacks, weapon skill 2, so it's -1 damage and I think strength compared to a Lichter.
Yeah, it is.
Not the same melee, but this is a lone op. Lichters were like, maybe I'll kill that Skitarii Marshal in combat. You got to think about that. The Neurolichter stopped pretending and is just a cheaper lone op with a 4-up invuln, and I love it for that. The Neurolichter has Infiltrator, Lone Operative, Stealth. It lost the fight first of a Lichter. I don't care.
Who cares? Yeah.
That wasn't why I took the Lichter. It was cute. Doesn't matter. Of course, it has, it's not Synapse. It is Vanguard Invader. Infantry, Neurolichter, Great Devourer. Not Synapse is important to note because it does have a brain, so it's kind of questionable. Not Synapse.
Wait, that thing's not Synapse?
Nope. Yeah, the giant floaty brain on legs is not Synapse.
I didn't know it didn't have a tail. It has legs?
It has legs.
I didn't know I would have bet like $100 this thing had like a snake ravener tail, but no, it has legs.
I wish I had known that. I would have bet. But the Neurolichter does come with 2 rules. One of them is the same one that every Lichter archetype has, which is feeder tendrils. If this model destroys an enemy character, you gain 1 CP. Honestly, if you destroy an enemy character in melee with this thing, your opponent has to buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? But you also get a CP, so good for you.
1 wound Skitari Marshal.
If the first Lichter doesn't kill him, the Neurolichter will get that last wound. All jokes aside, he also has 2 more rules. And this is where it gets real. Neural Disruption. In your command phase, select an enemy unit within 12 inches of the model, take a battle shock test.
So that's up to... Okay, it's your command phase. That's
Your command phase. So it's a little weird because your opponent has to get near you. But these are a lone op that just sit behind walls in places, just waiting for something to happen. And if your opponent is anywhere near the midfield, you just hand him a battle shock test.
But also, like, if he's on an objective and he's OC 1 and your opponent's like, haha, my 1 piranha, I have trumped you, and you are like, battle shock test. And they fail it, and you're like, no, I have battle shocked you.
Quite good. I also happen to like this a lot in the detachment. Because if someone like gets anything near you remotely, and you just say, take a battle shock test, and they fail,
rolls.
Synaptic Nexus is like 12 dice every 3 X Immortal. Die. Very funny. Multiple Neurolichters could target the same enemy, by the way. Just bang, bang, bang. Battle shocks. I like it. I like battle shock. That's half of it. Here's the second half. Chaos Knight players, look away. Look away, Chaos Knight players. It's stay brave. Okay. While an enemy unit is within 12 inches of this model, if that unit is battle shocked, funny, I already have a 12-inch apply battle shock. Now if I'm within 12 and you're battle shocked, I get rules. Synergy. This is good. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. And each time a friendly Tyranid model makes an attack that targets that unit, add 1 to the wound roll.
Wow.
So if your opponent pushes anything remotely near you, just start handing them battle shock tests. And the second they fail...
Like 4.
Yeah, you could hand them more than 4 if you were in the mood. Just as soon as they fail one of them, park a Neurolichter in the movement phase within 12 and say, you're -1 to hit, and my army is +1 to wound you. Big funny. Big fan of the Neurolichter.
This is a take 2 or 3 kind of unit.
This is a take 2 minimum, and this is a buy 3 if you're thinking about it. Like, the Neurolichter is...
quite good.
Money.
Yeah, this thing's...
Money in the bank.
He's a lone op that does stuff, has a 4-up invuln,
yeah,
and also fixes your damage problem by a not insignificant margin.
Yeah. And also, like, helps with defense. Like, get people battle shocked. The turn you pop shadows, everyone who fails their battle shock test... Like, the turn you're about to pop shadows, just jam Neurolichters up the field.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, surprise, everything is -1 to hit. Also, 4-up invuln lone op. Stealth.
What a jerk.
This thing's great.
Yeah,
Neurolichter's
awesome.
awesome.
Stealth too?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an infiltrating stealthy lone op with a 4-up invuln for 60 points.
I feel like Games Workshop gave out the lone op keyword the same way they gave out, like, the smoke keyword. They were like, yeah, we'll give it to some stuff. Didn't think about how it fundamentally changes what a unit does.
The Neurolichter should be a lone op.
Oh, I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm saying it totally does. But there are a few, like, egregious lone ops that just do way too much.
Yeah, this is one of them.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I mean, really, honestly, if I was, like, trying to be fair, I would just take away the invuln.
Yeah.
Like, keep it as, like, a cheap lone op that just dies the second you look at it and say, it's cool, does a lot of battle shock things, which it should. I like that.
Yeah.
But, like, then you can kill it. But, like, a 4-up invuln just, like, fundamentally is like, surprise, this thing might not die at any point.
You pass 2 and then all of a sudden...
7 wounds to the 4-up invuln. There's not a great profile for this.
There's really not. Wow. The odds of you not killing this with, like, a... The odds of this thing surviving way more than it should are hilarious.
Like, how many las cannon shots does it take to kill a Neurolichter? Like, the number, it's like 10.
It really is.
Like, you need to fail 2 save. Like, it's an actual number.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the last new datasheet. All of the models that got new models have mostly the same rules. There are some changes, and I'll go over those in a second. Doop, doop, doop. All right, so we're now just at, like, things that, how did they change? I already talked about Neurotyrants. Termagaunt's got new guns and a new kit.
Are they any good?
The new guns are phenomenal, so we're going to talk about them. All 3 of the new guns are 1 per 10. They are not a thing you get a bunch of in the box. Okay. So you're still going to take 7 dudes with Devours.
And then, is it 3, you know...
You can take 3...
So you can have 3 of gun A?
No.
Or do you have one of each?
1 per 10.
Oh, it's one of those? Okay.
1 per 10. So you get 1 of each, so that's 3, and then 7 dudes just take whatever gun the unit has.
Okay.
So everything else is the same about Termagants. But you get access to the Shard Launcher. D3 shots at 501, 18-inch blast heavy. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's free. Like, who cares, right? The Spike Rifle. I'm not even going to take this one. One shot at 4 plus strength. Everything's Ballistic Skill 4. It's just a Termagaunt. Strength 4 minus 1 damage, 24-inch range. It's one shot at 24-inch heavy. I would genuinely rather have it 6 inches less range and minus 1 AP by taking a Devour, just so that I have one less thing to roll.
I was going to say.
Because it contributes nothing.
That seems like the biggest waste of space ever.
Finally, the Strangle Web, a.k.a. the good one.
I see.
Assault. Devastating Wounds, Torrent.
Oh god, they did it again.
They did it again. It's a Weber.
It's just a Weber.
That's 18 inches.
18-inch... What?
So, it's D6 shots, 18-inch range, strength 2, AP 0, damage 1, dev wounds.
That's just a squad of Warp Spiders.
It's... Okay, hold on. It's
sorry.
1.
If you take 6 of the units of Termagaunt, it's a squad of Warp Spiders. Like,
strength 2 moves 6 inches.
Okay.
Come on.
Offensively, into most targets, it's the same thing.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It's very cute. And I really like this because you get to take, 8 Devours and 1 Shard Launcher. A Shard Launcher is just a D3 shot Devour that gets blast and heavy, which never comes up the heavy part, but hey, blast will occasionally come up. Otherwise, it's like the same thing. Yeah. And then there's 1 Strangle Web, which means it's assault. The unit can advance in actions, even when it's not near your Hive Tyrant, because that'll help a lot. Mm-hmm. And then also, if you have a 20-man, just 2 Strangle Webs is still just chip a mortal onto something. Just chip a mortal somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that tank has 1 wound left. I'm going to shoot these 2 Termagaunt squads at it. Oh, look, I did Immortal.
Yeah, you're going to do Immortal if you do that. The Strangle Web, you're going to have to convert a 3D print one up because everyone who's watching this video owns 267 Termagaunts. I think I'm north of 300 at this point. I'm not going to buy that many more kits. GW, I'm not strong enough. I'm sorry. I know you want my hard-earned money, but it's too hard-earned. Termagants didn't change at all. But yeah, cool. Strangle Web, amazing. Shard Launcher, neat.
Yeah.
Spike Rifle, sure.
Cool.
Whatever. It's free. Okay. Genestealers, the next new model to get an update to its rules. It did go up a point, which would make you think, boy, they must have changed the rules to make it better. That's not true. They made it worse. Genestealers used to reroll 1s to wound. Mm-hmm. And if it hit an enemy on an objective, they reroll all wounds. This is good because Broodlords give them dev wounds.
That is good.
Broodlords have not changed, to be clear. Genestealers now reroll 1s to hit, and against enemies on objectives, reroll 1s to wound.
That is way worse.
It is significantly worse. Reroll 1s to hit is dope on my weapon skill 2 dudes.
Yeah.
I get it. However, rerolling 1s to wound instead of all wounds on my devastating wounds expensive shock infantry was mandatory to keeping them relevant, which they kind of were already slipping out of. As it is, they do not do enough damage to go up in points.
Which is sad because the
models are so sweet, and they're just the back of the painting queue.
Really
it sucks, but they're just the back of the painting queue. Hate to see it, but it is what it is. Yep. Neurogaunts didn't really change. You now can't get Synapse from other Neurogaunts. Who cares? Raveners. They went from a 4-up armor save to a 5-up armor save, but they gained an upgrade called Armored Thorax or whatever, and they get a 4-up armor save if they don't take the gun.
I'd rather have the gun?
Nah, I'd rather have a 4-up armor save.
Are the guns bad?
It's a death spitter, but honestly, no, they're probably going to die anyways.
Yeah.
It's 3 shots at 401.
Might rather
Assault
have save.
is cute. Raveners don't have any of the fun keywords. They don't get advantage charge.
Oh, that's...
I know,
what?
right?
Why?
You would think they would, but they don't.
Okay.
If they did, I'd be interested.
That's my fault. My 27 Raveners.
Yeah, okay. Barbagonts had their wording updated to be consistent with the FAQ. Great. Okay. Biovores. This is a weird combo of buff and nerf with this new model. The good side, they have a new model. Much better than the old one. I don't actually know how much it costs, but you don't want to buy 9 of them, right? Because it's a new single pack kit, plastic. It's not going to be free. Mm-hmm. On the plus side, you only need 1 Biovore now, because only 1 unit of Biovores can seed Spore Mines in your shooting phase. Only 1.
You still
so 3 Biovores. You still take 1 Biovore. 1 Biovore is really good. It does the same thing that it did before. Biovore 2 and 3 now shoot.
Yes.
And that is less interesting. So they did gain +1 wound and +1 saves. They're tougher to reflect their new model, but only 1 can do it. So just 1 Biovore in the backfield, great value still. Pyrovores, gained a wound. Death Leaper has a 3-up armor instead of the 4-up armor, and he can be your warlord if he's in the detachment. Okay.
That's exciting.
Harpies. Now only 1 Harpy can add a new Spore Mine unit in the movement phase, not all your Harpies. Same thing. They just wanted us to stop making multiple new Spore Mines a turn. I don't know who in the community has ruined Spore Mines for the rest of us, but that person, they should feel shame.
I think it was Alex McDougall.
Don't hurt me. Lichter lost its 5-up invuln.
Sad.
Why? Come on. Like, you release the new Lichter that's better. Because the new plastic Lichter is so cool. It's so good, man. The new kit is so beautiful. It is like 3 distinctly different poses it can do. This thing is sweet. It's a lot more pieces than you would think. Like, the new Lichter kit is amazing.
Death Leaper, by the way.
Oh, it's huge.
I'm going to take this moment to this. The Death Leaper model is legitimately like this tall.
Yeah.
It's
massive.
Like bigger than my head. It's hilarious. It is taller than a Norn. It is legit taller than a Norn.
Yeah, the instructions tell you that he holds his arm up like this, like straight up.
Straight up.
And I don't know how much I can get away with like converting it to not be that, but unfortunately it makes him taller than every ruin I would ever play on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang it, like come on, dude, like infantry, like my 7 wound infantry loan up. Yeah. Please, no one is calling on you. Please put your hand down.
It also
like no one's giving you a high five, bro. Just hide.
It also doesn't help that he's standing on like a 2.5-inch scenic base.
Yeah, they really took a model that is the same bulk as a Gravis Captain and made him 6 inches tall.
Yeah, it's so
God. Very funny, very cool model.
Yeah.
Going down the list of units that got changes. The Psychophage, its melee is now anti-psyker 4+ instead of 2+.
Did it get worse?
Yeah.
Well, but
like it still does its job.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the Psychophage is actually better because there are now detachments that don't give you a feel of pain.
Okay.
So that feel of pain actually has purpose.
Yeah.
Whereas before is like, why would I do this, right? Like I just pay for the 5 of feel of pain, not paying for the 6 of.
It's also not like it ever actually did anything, and now it just doesn't pretend.
Yeah. It does no longer pretends to do melee. Rippers went from 3 to 6 to 1 to 3. So if you, Tyler Bortel, you own more Ripper Swarms than you should. Now you need 9.
I have a friend that was complaining. Rippers are his favorite model. He owned like 54. Because he ran max units when they were max squad size of 9 or whatever.
6 units of 9. I get it.
Yeah. He's going to be upset.
Yeah, he's complaining that he now only needs 18. Upset, surprise, it's now 9. You can technically bake more with the Parasite, same way as you could in the Index, but that's it. The Spore Cyst, its Hive Defense rule is no longer shoot everything that like gets near you. It's now fire Overwatch for 0 CP. That's it. So it no longer it's on 6's Overwatches, and it no longer shoots up to 4 units. It shoots 1 because it can only be Overwatched with once. But it can Overwatch for free even if someone already has. But it's still not really worth anything. The Tyrannifex, pour one out, lost -1 damage.
Burr, burr, burr.
It now has the
Rogel Thorn.
It has the Rogel Thorn rule.
Yeah.
So that means that once per game, when an attack is allocated to this Tyrannifex, change the damage to 0. Here's the problem. When you allocate it to the Tyrannifex, when does that happen?
This is before you make the saving throw.
Before you make the saving throw. The hilarious part is that you still have to take the save even though it's damage 0. So like you, like obviously no one's going to unless it's a Melt-A-Gun. Yeah. But that is not the same as -1 damage.
Wait, because the Melt-A-Gun would be damage
2 if it was in melt range. Yeah. That's it. Finally, the Tyrant Guard. Their melee Crushing Claws went to 2 attacks instead of 3, but they gained Twin Linked. Yeah, fair enough. That's every change I could find. I have no doubt someone is going to find out that Neurogaunts actually gained Anti-Psyker 6+ in melee, and I missed it or something. There's always something. Let me know in the comments, whatever I missed, by the way. But that is, to my knowledge, every
Did you
change...
talk about how Neurogaunts now exclude other Neurogaunts from their Neuropsych rule?
I did, yeah. I did mention that. It's very, very brief. That's every detachment. That's every model, every datasheet that changed, and every point that changed. Other than that, it's the Index.
So what are your
thoughts
on
but a lot fancier.
Thoughts on the Tyranid Codex as a whole?
I really like that the detachments have so much variety, because I feel like as soon as I'm bored of playing Tyranids one way, I can just change my detachment and it is a completely different army.
I like that too.
I like that part.
I was afraid that like every detachment was going to be like, wow, well, this one is the same army as that one, is the same army as that one, but they all have one different stratagem.
Yeah. Yeah, like right, like we were thinking about like the Black Templar and the Space Wolf detachments, and being
Yeah.
like, oh, this is just doing the same thing, but one of
way
them works.
better, yeah.
Not like that.
They all do like fundamental. You take different units.
I kind of wish that there was one more generalist detachment.
I agree.
I think 5 specialists was too many, because by the time you reach that 5th one, they are scraping the bottom of their creative barrel. I think, unfortunately, the victim of that one is the Assimilation Swarm. They were like, hey, what's a distinct, like, what Tyranid units are different? Monsters, Gaunts, Brains, Lichters. How many detachments did you guys want? 6. Oh, let's do snakes. There's only 3 of them. Assimilate, like, eating people?
Yeah. I also feel
All the
like
Tyranids eat people. What are you talking about?
the Trigon and the Mawok could have been harvesters. And
They could have made the Mawok Harvester. Personal pet theory here. I think that Tyranid warriors should have gotten every possible keyword.
I agree.
Just to be like a Tyranid warriors are the glue that makes the army work. Gives them a super unique role without making them actually good, because they're not very good.
Yeah,
but it gives them a role.
In the same way that, like, I feel like if there's a rule Space Marines get, Intercessors and Tactical Marines should just get all of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like...
Yeah, and we don't have the Space Marine Codex yet, so this is the only codex we have. We don't have comparison on what a 10th book looks like. This is the only template I got.
Yep. Remains to be seen what
Remains
happens.
to be seen, but in general, very optimistic for Tyranids. I think that they've really added multiple playstyles to the book, without making the army more complicated.
One thing I also like is that I am excited to go to an event and see an army across from me and it not be the exact same thing every time.
Yeah, no, that's true. It is, obviously Tyranids will be the first, but it is going to be really nice that you can just rock up with an army and you can look at that and say, oh, that's a different type of Tyranids than the one I played around too.
Yep.
It's completely different. Like, I just played against the Invasion Swarm.
Yeah.
Now this is the Synaptic Nexus.
Yeah.
What does that do? And you'd be like, buckle up, every single rule is different.
Yeah.
Surprise.
It's not like the, wow,
But
this
there's
was
only
the-
6 to learn.
Yeah, I was going to say. I don't know. I like it. I also... I will kind of say the, like, 6 stratagems was kind of really growing on me. Because, like, I was thinking back to 9th edition, I was like, wow, I had a lot of strats. Sure didn't use a lot of them.
Yeah. 6 stratagems are generally okay. There's a couple duds in most of these detachments. Most detachments in 10th in the indexes have at least 1 dud.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. We just use 5 strats instead of 6, and it's good.
Especially since the core strats are a lot better now.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I like this in general. I like this book. I think this is very positive. I think mid players should enjoy this.
Yes.
Competitively, look at where Tyranids are right now. They are a top half army with a very reasonable win rate. They're like sitting in the 51 to like 52, 53.
Yeah.
They're not bringing a ton of event wins home, but they're placing fine. They are, and by most metrics, they don't need any kind of significant nerfs. You could probably tone down Biovores a little bit, but they already did. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think this is a good Biovore nerf right here.
Yeah.
Keeps them useful, but like not spammed. This feels like a facelift. That's mostly them getting better laterally, not vertically.
I agree.
The invasion fleet that you could have taken before got slightly worse rules because several datasheets got nerfed.
Yep.
But it got access to more datasheets, and things got slightly cheaper.
Yep.
So it's probably slightly better than before, but that was an army that had a very acceptable win rate.
Yeah, they're totally fine.
And now we've got 3 new detachments that I think could be competitively played. 2.5 maybe.
Yeah.
And of those, none of them immediately screamed to me, this is just better than the invasion fleet. This
No,
is
they
way
all
better.
felt fine.
They all felt like, oh, this is good. I think it's better. That's not crazy, though.
You know what I really liked is that, like, walking away from it, there was, like, a lot of times I read, like in the old Edition Codexes, I'd read, like, the chapter tactics and be like, wow, that's the best one.
Yeah. It's not obvious.
There were 3 of them, and if the end, like, the Brainbug, Vanguard, and Invasion Fleet, I could all just totally see being the best one.
I imagine it'll crystallize once we get games.
Yes.
I'm not the best person at reading a book and immediately saying, this is the best combo ever. My gut right now is it's the Synaptic Nexus.
Yeah.
But, like, no promises on that. No promises at all. We'll just kind of see what develops. That's just the one that I think is the best.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of interesting things to do with Tyranids.
They really are.
So I'm really excited to see how they develop. I really like this book. The last book that we got was the 9th edition one. We know that one was a competitive train wreck.
It sure was.
It was super fun. This is not that. but it does give you a lot of options.
Yes.
This is just as many options as that 9th edition book. None of them feel like they're head and shoulders above the game the way that one was. Like you don't get to spam mortals to remotely the same degree. The only way you can try is by getting your opponent to get near you and then fail battle shock checks, and that is not reliable, and it's also not nearly as many mortals.
Yeah, you don't have the ridiculous minefields backed up by Super Smite.
By Malice. Yeah, like it's just not the same. Overall, very positive, mostly because this feels like it is a more interesting index. It doesn't feel like it's a brand new scourge of the meta.
I agree. If you've been playing with the index, you more or less know what this book does.
I don't think this crept very far above the current power level.
No.
And you know what? Codex Group usually doesn't set in with the first book. We got a lot more codexes to go. I'm sure GW will give us another book at some point that makes us think Fate Dice are soft. But until that point, I'm really happy. Like, as both a Tyranid player and a 40k player, I'm
this book is good.
Very happy.
If every codex comes out in this ballpark, I'm going to feel great.
Yeah, just Tyranids got a lot more interesting. Mm-hmm. They got very slightly better than where they are now. Not significant. They're already at a decent level. We got a balance patch coming sometime in the next month. I mean, honestly, raise the floor, lower the roof, keep Tyranids about the same. Maybe put Biovores back to their old points cost, because it looks like this was printed before they jacked Biovore prices up the once. Yeah. But that's fine. You just make Biovores 65 points again.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
And then just let it ride. And honestly, I would guess that this, if you take Eldar out of the meta, I would guess this thing hits a 55% win rate.
Yeah, it seems
And
good.
If you don't, it's probably 50.
Yep.
52, 53. It's a little better than now, but not a lot.
Not a lot.
And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting, a lot of options, cool new models. This is a good codex release. I'm really, fingers crossed, hoping that this doesn't accidentally turn out to be broken in a way that I've missed. Maybe I hope it does. But I really don't think it is. I really don't think that they made this book broken. I think they just took good Tyranids, spread out the good options across many levels, but none of them just jumped above the others.
Yep,
it's just not obvious what to do.
Yep.
And I love that.
All right.
That's where I'm at. There's a lot more Tyranid content coming. There's a lot more Tyranid games coming. So if you want to see me play games with this Tyranid Codex, I do too, and I will be there. We're going to have a game on YouTube live this Wednesday, so if you're watching this when it comes out, click the like button, leave a comment, of course. Subscribe to the channel, that way you get notified when we go live. As well, I'm going to put a lot of content in the Worm. We're going to have games coming up in the Worm, as well as a faction focus, probably a lot more. I'm just so excited for this. I'm probably going to be making up more videos to do, because I just can't stop talking about it. So I'm just going to sit down in front of the camera. So please check out a link in the description below. That's thewarroom.vhx.tv. That'll give you a free 3-day trial to the Worm. If you want to find out what our competitive community is all about, this is a great way to learn the game, become the best, and become a member of our wonderful community. The Tyranid chat's quite active. I know that the second this book drops, I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be living in there. I'm going to be texting that Discord more than I text my girlfriend. And, well, let's get to it. So, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you next time. Quinton, thanks for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.